The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, hashtag Kobold Lives Matter.
Shall we play a game?
You've got several things to do. You've got work, kids in school. What do you do when it's all over?
How do you hand something from one player to another?
Dark soul light. Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the new clan.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast for you,
Where we finally beat games.
where we finally complete games.
Is this how
With an
Christians?
asterisk.
Is this how Christians
There
are
are
gonna
games
feel
we
when
have
like
not finally
Jesus
beat.
comes again?
True.
Like after all this waiting, it finally happened.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you guys have been waiting for, what, like a month we've been late on this thing?
Almost two.
Yeah. So, here we are. Suikoden II, Cameron and I both finished it in this last week and are very excited to review it for you all. Before we get into any of that, though, what's everyone been playing this week? Zach, what have you been up to?
Ghost of Tsushima. I'm playing a lot of that, and Fall Guys. I play a shit ton of Fall Guys actually. Won another crown. It's nice. It's nice being a winner in that game. And then Shantae, half genie hero. I didn't play that much this week.
It's just, with...
What is that?
It's like it's a platformer. A4 got me to like play the newest one, and they're fun. You're running around in this like half genie chick, and you beat shit with your hair. it's weird, but it's fun.
It's a very Metroidvania style platformer. You can get certain abilities to transform into creatures that allow you to traverse certain obstacles. And then you can go back to different areas and explore more.
Yeah, so I just
and then it's got the full on Castlevania style map thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. So today I got the ability to go underwater now finally. So
nice.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun little.
Got it. Yeah, I think I asked you this last time actually, what this game was, and I've clearly forgotten. And you know what? If you say it again next week, I bet I will have forgotten yet again as well. So
you know what?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned
To explain that game to me.
I won't.
Once again. Is that it for you?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. What about you, Cameron?
Oh, sorry, real quick. Sorry, I played Mortal Shell. I got Mortal Shell, and I started that.
How is that?
It's actually pretty fun.
I've heard it's only 15 hours compared to
it's only a
40 hours.
It's like a $30 game too. It's half price. Yeah, there's only 4 main shells and 4 main weapons, and instead of actually working on your stats, you switch through shells that have different stats. Yeah, and you find your playstyle through that. It's actually fun. It's a bit hard. Instead of so you have to find a rune to be able to parry. But you can turn to stone. For it has to revamp itself, but you turn to stone and they'll hit and they'll stagger them, so you can fuck them up.
I saw something for that game where in the beginning of the game you can sacrifice your ability to use shells or something, and then it makes it so you only have one hit basically until you're dead.
Yep.
But it maxes out your stamina.
That is so that's how you start. You don't start with a shell, and that's kind of what happens. You can keep going. Yeah, you only have 1 hit. So if you get hit, there's no Estus flasks or anything, any health regeneration that way. You get certain things around these certain mushrooms and stuff, or a roasted rat will give you a certain amount of health. But if you get to 0, you it launches you back out of your shell, and you have to run and get into it before you're hit again, or you lose. And it keeps all your I can't remember what it's called. They have this stuff, I think it's tar. They call it tar, and that's how you level up and what you find. So it takes all your tar away. But it's interesting. It's fun.
Your tar?
Your tar, yeah.
Nice. You like
Did you just like build it up by smoking, or
yeah, or are you like are you laying roads? Like, are you a construction worker putting down?
Yeah, and like that's when I'm like, those guys are coming and trying to
gotta
fight
lay
you.
some
Yeah.
blacktop?
It's like a bunch of the homeless people are coming to fight you because they're mad because you're taking over their turf.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
You're paving over their
Yeah.
little homeless
You're
encampment.
adding armrests to the benches so they can't sleep on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, dude. You know how much of a dick? Okay, so like I was thinking about this. I was looking at like speaking of making things impossible to use, like putting rivets on like fucking items so that people can't grind skateboards on it. It's like I don't know. Like I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like how malicious do you have to be as a person to look at that and be like, let's put these little fucking things on there so that when someone does this, it'll fuck them up. It'll just fucking slap them right off that board.
It's supposed to be a deterrent before the person tries to do it, not after.
Yeah. I don't know.
They space them out enough that it's a surprise.
Yes, everyone is different. Some rails don't have them.
Yeah, you've seen that though, right, Cameron?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but as I was saying it though, I was like, you know what? I think I would probably do that if it was if they were grinding on my business's rail. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Let's put these fucking bolts. But I would make them crazy. I would make them like massive. It's like fucking like
Increase
6-inch.
the cost of buying guardrails.
Yeah,
in business.
I would make it like a bolt that's like 6 inches. So if they fell, it would just like impale them on the fucking bolt.
Extreme sports.
Yeah. You gotta kick flip over that to survive, or you die.
Some mom's
You have to
gonna-
be really fucking good, otherwise you're dead.
Yeah,
You killed my son. Shouldn't grind on my fucking rail.
yeah. That's why I put that fucking rebar in the middle of
train in
it.
the simulations of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yeah. All right. So, what about you, Cameron? What have you been up to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Suikoden II.
nothing but.
Nothing but.
Not even Tarkov.
Not even Tarkov.
Not even Fall
I
Guys.
haven't played a single game for the past other than Suikoden for the past 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Wow. That's really saying something for you, because you usually mess around with a couple other games as well.
Yeah, no, but I haven't.
This game seemed to be
Also doesn't help
deceptively
that-
long too, because like that, the How Long to Beat said it was like what 33 hours, and both of you guys are like over 40.
Yeah, I was almost at 50 when I beat it. I did a bunch of extra stuff too, though. So, which is
I think being sick didn't help either, because there were certain days I couldn't do anything. So
yeah. Cameron was not well last week, so I wasn't here. So, but
past 2 times, yeah.
cool. Suikoden 2, very nice. It's a good one to play, considering
Considering what?
considering that we're here to review it and we hadn't beaten it last week. What about you, Craig? What have you got going?
Let's see. I just started playing the Wonderful 101 remaster. It's pretty interesting so far. And then I played some Fall Guys, like a round of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And let's see, did I play anything else? Oh, I started that Tales of Berseria too.
Okay, that's the sequel to the one we played for the show, right?
It's the prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel to...
Yeah, it's like it takes place like 1,000 years before, and it has like that like Earth spirit chick in Zestria
No.
that has like the big fists.
Oh, yeah.
She thick?
Her brother is like one of the main characters in that game,
Okay, I remember her.
and then he turns into the dragon in Zestiria that you have to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
it's pretty sweet so far. I like the combat a little better.
Yeah, I heard that Tales of Zestiria was the worst one. Everyone was complaining.
Is not. I mean, it's not a bad game. So I mean, that's
Yeah, that's a good sign.
yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah, the game is pretty sweet so far though. You can like set up different like combos of moves and shit, and then they have like a soul system
Yeah.
where you like instead of
Okay.
like fusing and stuff, they have you can like beat the shit out of a dude, and then it basically makes it so that you can attack more. And then you can use like a super move for like 3 of your souls.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting.
So it's definitely different.
Yeah, it's different.
Nice. Yeah, I had fun with Systeria, but I don't know. Well, maybe we'll have to get another Tales of game in here one of these days. Is that it for you?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, so I played a bunch of Suikoden 2 this week. Obviously, we're here to review it today, so you know what that means. But I did play Call of Duty. I played a few hours of Call of Duty. I had some issues yesterday. I was trying to switch the stream over from Ultima to Nude Clans so that I could play Angry Lesbian Simulator 2. But I wasn't allowed to. It was freaking out on me because at first I was like, okay, I'm going to make today a 14-day. And then I was talking to Joe, and Joe was like, well, why don't you just play Last of Us 2? Why don't you just give, because he gave me 2 weeks as an estimate. Somebody in the Discord asked when we're going to get back on. And he's like, why don't you just take the 2 weeks that I mentioned before and just try to play Last of Us 2 and then knock it out, and then you can do Final Fantasy 14 again. And I was like, oh, that's probably a good idea. So I tried to switch the Twitch on my PS4 back to Nude Clan, and it won't let me. It won't let me sign out of Ultima again. It's really fucking bizarre. I don't know why.
Through the app itself?
Yeah. So I might just have to use the expensive-ass equipment that we bought and stream it legitimately instead of through
it won't let you sign out?
Yeah, it won't let me sign out of Ultimas. It's weird because I had to have Joe sign out before I could sign in. And then, so I had Joe do that, and then it signed me into Ultimas, and now it won't let me sign out of Ultimas. It's freaking out. So it's super annoying. And, I mean, it's probably not a super common problem because most people probably don't have multiple Twitch accounts, but we do, so it kind of fucks us up.
I mean, I have multiple Twitch accounts and I'll often stream to my own private account just to make sure the settings are correct before I stream to the main account.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
And
but
so I back and forth all the time.
And you've never had problems?
Not to this extent, no.
And you're using PlayStation's app and not the...
I have through PlayStation,
Okay.
yeah. But PlayStation I usually don't have to double check because the settings are what they
Maybe
are.
we should just set up our own
then
Twitch
if
accounts and
I-
then have the Nude host it every time.
Well, no, what I'm saying is through the PlayStation I can't sign out, so it wouldn't matter. Even if I did that, it won't let me sign out of Ultimas right now.
Well, I mean, if you have Nude host it, then people can still see it, right?
Yeah, but I can't export
But
stuff to...
who gets the views at that point? Is it Nude or is it...
It'd be whoever's hosting it. So it'd be my channel, technically. I don't know how it fucking... I think I just need to use the Elgato that we bought, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I can...
It's easier that way, and that's
Yeah.
what I usually do. The only issue is if you want to stream a party game off the PlayStation, then you have issues with
Chat.
where do you listen to the audio from and how you get your party audio from the PlayStation on the PC and then have you still be able to hear it.
Yeah.
That's the big issue I was trying to solve a while ago.
Yeah, there seems to be not really
That's
a
not
solution.
good solution.
Yeah. So I played some COD. I am not very good at it, but I started using snipers because I don't know. I tried to use the FAL for a little while, but I just don't have the speed anymore, and so I just took it I made it a slow game, and I'm doing okay, and it's fun. I missed playing it. Honestly, I missed the fast killing in Call of Duty after. I think I played in the end of Season 2, and now it's Season 5 on there, so I've missed a lot of time in COD, and I kind of missed it, so I played a decent amount of that. I started up Last of Us 2, like I said, but I didn't actually start the game. I just went to the menu and did the settings and watched the boat float, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm done because I can't stream it, and I want to stream it, so that will be happening. I think tomorrow night. I was going to do a 14 night tomorrow, but I think I'm going to make it Last of Us 2 instead because I'll give 14 another week off so that I can get ahead.
Well, next week
Last
is
of Us.
also Labor Day weekend, so you should have a ton of time to just plow through Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I'll probably work the weekend, but
I thought you had it off.
no, man, I don't have anything off.
I thought Mondays were your normal day off.
Yeah, but on a holiday week, if it's the holiday is on a Monday, I work it. That's what they do. So I'll have
It's too
Tuesday.
much.
I'll have Tuesday off.
You'll have the day after the weekend ends
Yes.
off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty. It's the beauty. of it all.
God damn, dude.
But yeah, so I got that, and so stay tuned for that. I'll be streaming that bad boy when I get everything going. But now that we've talked about and we've mentioned in detail what everyone's been playing, the real question, the only question, did anybody beat a game this week?
No.
Also, no.
Cameron?
Yes.
What game did you beat?
Slow smile. Insert that audio clip as a slow smile.
Well, for about 10 seconds, Cameron was ahead on the hog, according to the show, at least. Of course, in real life, I finished the game first, but nothing for Craig?
Nope.
All right, so the hog for the hosts is as follows. Zach, King Hog, 17 games down. Craig, second place with 16 games.
I think Craig's first, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, no, you're right. Craig is first. I was
Yeah.
thinking of
I'm ahead
2
by
weeks
one.
ago. So Craig has 17. Zach has 16. My apologies. And then Cameron and I, Cramron, and I finally hit double digits.
Cramron.
Double digits with 10 each. How does it feel?
Like we're behind what we were last time.
by a decent amount, yeah. It kind of feels like that. I mean, is it really true, though? Or does it just feel that way?
I think you guys were around like 14 games last year at this
So no
time.
more fucking RPGs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, looking at it, I only have 3 RPGs, and 2 of them aren't even for this show. Well, you had Undertale. That was an RPG. But
Yeah, but nowhere near as long. Not even comparable.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Schweiss has an even longer RPG to play for him and I.
Yeah. Even longer by a lot.
Yeah.
By a shit ton. So that's exciting.
Well, the best part about that one is you can take that to work and do that on your Switch.
Yeah.
So you have times during breaks and stuff.
That's true. It's not much time, but each day it's probably
It's
about
like-
an hour.
Yeah, an hour.
An hour extra.
Yeah, that should help out. Like, especially if you just do like side quests during that time, then you can like play the main game when you're actually like home, and that'll be like faster.
Yeah.
Because doing the main stuff is like pretty quick, but then you have to do like a ton of side missions in order to like stay leveled,
Yeah.
which is ass. And I would look up a guide for like some of the bigger XP boost missions, because there are some that like give you only gold, and then there's some that give you like only XP, and there's some that give you both. And there's ones that are just like give you a bunch of XP by talking to a bunch of people back and forth without
Okay.
like having to do anything. So like
That sounds pleasant.
yeah, it's really nice. I leveled up like 8 times in one area because of that shit.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's what's on the board right now. We've got Last of Us 2 next, and then after that Ghost of Tsushima, and then Valkyrie Big Titty Profile. Is it a big titty game or no?
It's not.
It's
Valkyrie
Xeno. It's
Profile.
Xeno.
Or Xeno? See, all of those
It's
games.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
All of those
I almost said
games. Are,
Xenogears. So good thing
yeah, see, they're all the same.
salvage that.
It's just
I mean,
Japanese mass
Xenoblade and
tits.
Xenogears is in like the same universe.
Kinda.
It's not kinda. They are.
It's sort of.
The Valkyrie Profile's a breakoff game.
It's made
so-
by the same
Yeah.
guy, but it's not technically.
The chick from Xenogears is a blade in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
See, that's bullshit. That's like saying
And there's like world connections with like various random things.
that's like
in
saying
there.
that Kingdom Hearts 3 is still Final Fantasy because they have constellations with Final Fantasy guys. It's like that's bullshit. That's like
No, but it's like they have like shit that connects them to the universe in the game as like little Easter eggs and shit.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's kind of that's what I'm saying. It's kind of connected. Maybe it's the same universe,
that's what I
but
said.
not the
It's
same series.
It's like
yeah.
the same
Okay.
universe.
I could accept that.
I don't. They're like along different time periods.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
though.
In different areas. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a huge spoiler at the end of the first game that tells you kind of like what's going on, but
Okay. Well, I'll see that, I guess, eventually. So, got a question, Greg?
yeah.
I know we
there's a
had.
couple.
I know Zach was. There's a couple Zach wanted to answer.
Yeah, well, everyone here sucks, so I don't want to do it.
You can't skip questions.
We
We can
can
skip questions. We can skip we can
Okay, the
we
more
can
you
skip
skip
any
questions, the more
questions
people
that
are not
we
gonna
want.
ask questions because they know
That's
their
not true.
questions are going to be skipped.
Well, if they keep asking stupid questions, like a lot of them do, then they
I'll just
deserve to
take
get
that
skipped.
responsibility reading questions from you. and
You're
I'll
just
do it.
mad. You're just mad
Well-
because we found out you don't like tits as much as you said you did.
That was one question.
You
I
can be an
skipped
ass guy,
because it was
Greg.
Stupid.
It's a minority here, but you can be an ass guy. That's fine.
So the first question
It's a
is
tit
from
state,
Emperor
but-
M. He says, "What do you prefer, 80 degrees and high humidity, or 100-degree dry heat?"
100-degree dry
Why?
heat.
Yep, 100 degrees
Yeah.
dry heat as well.
Dry heat.
because humidity sucks ass. I've
Yeah.
been to Florida. It sucks.
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah, so in the UK, that's the same thing as all the humidity and like
It's
fucking
gross.
sucks. Yeah, you just like become a swamp. It's disgusting.
Yeah. You can't tell if you're sweating or if you're
Existing
just.
at normal temperatures. guys,
Shrek
you
keeps
did
asking
moist
people why
and
what
stuff,
they're doing in his swamp.
Is Cameron really quiet to you guys?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
but I don't have headphones on, so I can't tell.
Yeah.
Say something. Again.
I said.
You should turn him
His
up.
mic
You should-
levels
you
are the
should turn
same as
him up a
everybody
little bit.
else.
Yeah, I don't know why you're so quiet. Let me find you.
Is it just your headphones?
I don't think so.
No, because mine is doing it too. He sounds quiet in mine as
All right,
well.
talk again.
Does this sound better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like blasting you. I don't know. That's weird. Whatever. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, the humidity sucks ass. There's a reason why I didn't live. I lived in Florida and I'll never go back. Someone in the chat asked that Cameron, glad to see Cameron survive the COVID. He didn't actually have it.
No,
It was just a scare.
Yeah.
I was pretty sick though. Had to take antibiotics, but it wasn't COVID.
Yeah. All right, what else we got, Greg?
It's another one so we got one from Tijolo. He says, "So have any of you hosts had a moment where you were like, holy shit, I'm getting old? Like my son, he's 10, and asked him something, and he goes, bruh, and in my head I lost it like, really, I'm your dad. And I told him, don't ever call me bruh again or you'll regret it. It's dad or pops. Anything like that for you guys?" This might be an After Dark question.
No, that's a new Clank U. But
I
we're
know, but
mixing
that's
them-
part
we're
of
mix-
that was
That's
part of
the
his
question, yeah.
We're,
That's why I read it.
we're mixing them together. It's cool.
Yeah, it's all one melting pot of pod.
Bruh, I call my mom dude, man, bruh, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
fuck,
So
fuck it,
unless
man.
your
Doesn't matter.
response to your child was in jest to him, like you need to calm down just a little bit. Have
Dude, if
your-
my kid called me
That is
pops,
an
I'd pop
actual
him one
response
too.
to that question.
Yeah,
by the way.
Bragg does say calm down. Dude, if my kid called me
And he called
pops,
him
I'd be
bruh
like,
too. It
fuck
says
you.
calm down, bruh.
Just kidding, guys.
I
don't
mean,
think kids.
other than that, like, I mean, yeah, if you have,
I mean, like,
if you want to be super strict and your child can't ever
But
be
this
your
is-
friend, then
That's,
yeah,
that
go
wasn't his.
route.
That wasn't his
Bro.
question. He said like it had moments that made you feel old.
Right.
Was
So
the
we can't
question.
attack him for his.
No,
Yeah.
we can't.
I haven't had that. I've had moments that have made me feel extra fat. Like, I don't think I'm getting old so much as I'm getting fat.
Someone's like, "Are you sure you want to
Yeah,
supersize
Schweiss sees
that?"
a whole pizza and he's like, fuck, I could eat that in 2 seconds.
My hair's starting to thin out a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's already been.
Schweiss is very thin.
Schweiss just drops his mic. Fuck you. Just walks away.
Yeah,
I don't know if it kind of made me feel old. I saw someone with like a graduating 2020 hoodie, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I graduated 10 years
Yeah,
ago."
it's
Yeah.
realizing that people born in 2000 are 20 years old now.
the thing is, okay, so here's
Yeah.
what happened to me. I always started feeling older and older when I'd go to the gas station and I'd see that like can't buy tobacco unless you're born after this date. Thankfully, Trump upped it by 4 years, so I felt a little younger for a minute because they made it like 20 or 21 for everyone, the whole country. It's weird how no one's freaking out about that, but whatever. And I get so like the date bumped up a few years, so I was like, oh, I feel a little younger, a little pep in my step.
It'll be
And your hip just pops
Yeah.
out. A little pep in my. Ooh.
It'll be when you're in the business world or professional world, and you're like dealing someone on like a professional level, and then realizing they were born in 2000. You're like, the fuck am I talking to this kid for?
You're like
They're
2000.
not a kid anymore.
You're like, what are you, like 6? And then you're like, oh, wait a minute,
What, you
it's
6?
2020. Holy fuck.
Yeah, dude, that shit makes me feel old.
Yeah, 2000. That's a crazy birth year.
Right now,
me.
the most people I deal with, it's like, oh, you're born in 91? Jeez.
Yeah.
This industry is getting younger. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm almost 30. So
Yeah, that's how mine is too.
Yeah.
All the
Cool.
mechanics are old as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's... I feel like it'd be really interesting to take a long look on, especially like the mechanic industry, to see how many young people are starting to get into the trade versus how many old people are staying in the trade. Because you're saying most of the people you deal with are old as shit.
Well, some of them. I mean, I get a bunch of younger people too. It's because
I want to see a resurgence of trades. Is what I want. I want less focus on college, so college goes down in price. So people want to do that can actually.
I mean,
afford
if it's in the trucking industry, then
and I want people in trades to get paid more because we're actually having a shortage of skilled tradespeople.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Rowe. I'm glad you joined us.
There needs to be a rebalance. It needs to happen where people in trades get paid more for their skills, and less people going to college because you don't need to go to college now as your second diploma. And so people going to college who actually want to go into like these scientific or like really hard degrees don't have to pay so much money for the rest of their life for doing that.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then being paid the same level as someone else who doesn't have the degree for a while and then struggling to pay back their student loans. There just needs the middle class needs to come back.
No, you know what? Yeah, and to be fair, if you go to college and you're like, I can't find a job with my liberal arts degree, fuck you. You did it to yourself.
Yeah, well, see, Cameron's got a good point. And the thing about it is that there are a lot of trade jobs. It's actually... Like, this is something I listen to.
Trades are starting to pay more, just so you guys know, because of the shortage.
They totally are. Well, it's like the whole thing when they were like, "Oh, dude, don't be like the garbage man." No, fuck it, man. That dude makes a lot.
Well, and that's
making bank.
That's something that Mike Rowe talks about a lot, where he's like,
the plumbing and AC and stuff like that. You can make a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And you can still make overtime doing that.
And his argument is like there was a huge push for like 20 plus years now, where only idiots go into trades, and he's like, I think that's ridiculous.
And that's why college is so expensive now. Is because
everyone
wants to go to college.
Yeah.
And since everyone wants to go to college, they can charge whatever price they want to pay the fucking huge salaries that these professors are making. I don't know how much they're making, but they're still in their own textbooks on the side, so fuck them.
It's a lot of administrative costs, I think.
A lot of administrative costs, but I still feel like the cost of going to school is overly inflated.
It is, yeah. It's not worth it, yeah.
It's going up faster than the actual GDP of people.
There are two things that are increasing vastly beyond inflation, and it's
education and housing.
It's education and healthcare. Those are like thousands of percent.
Housing is also vastly increasing
that one's
price.
Area specific mostly, though.
Sort of, but
here is bad. Here it's like getting way inflated, but that's also
if you could really go down into housing about how it's vastly outpaced. It's becoming the rich own the land again and renting it to the middle class and the poor, the middle class. It's harder for our generation to own homes now because of it.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that.
Do you think like the decline in like trade jobs and like the increase in like people going to college and fucking themselves over it's because parents were like telling their kids they could be anything? Like, at one point you got to tell your kids like
that's part of it.
You're not gonna do that.
What it really is the shift. What Schweiss touched on earlier. It's the shift of only stupid people go do trade jobs and only good smart children go to college and get a good degree. But part of that is just shifting where what our generation, the generation before us wanted to do, and so many people are going to college that it's now a 4-year degree is basically like a second diploma, like a high school diploma for most jobs,
and that's why I stopped going.
Now it's now an entry level requirement for a lot of stuff. Yeah. And you're still making beans over what the previous generation are making currently with that same degree at their same job. Arguably, they have the tenure and the experience in that, but we're not. As soon as those people retire and our people, start to fill those positions, we're not going to be paid the same amount as they were getting paid because they know they can pay us less now.
Well, so when I was in the UK, one of the problems they were seeing with education is they were firing teachers who had and weren't hiring teachers who had like more credentials, and they were hiring teachers either you're just like fresh out of like basic college or like had the minimal amount of requirements because they didn't have to pay them as much, and that's what we're seeing as well now.
You don't see it as much in high skilled fields because it takes a lot of money to train someone up to do a certain task within a job, even with a degree.
Right.
But a lot of jobs they'll restructure and fire people who have been with the company for a while to one, get rid of their certain retirement bonus if they work the company a certain amount of time, and two, so they can put someone in that same position who's being paid less.
That's
Yeah.
what Delta's doing right now. I have a friend who got fired.
Yeah, and
the
it's in this our current type of world. If you get paid more, the more you get paid, the more likely you'll be fired for it.
Yeah,
You have
it's
to
with us at the post office. They just incentivize people to retire early.
How's it working for the post office right now? There are a lot of craziness going on surrounding that.
He just got a huge bonus for not having Coke stocked in his.
yeah,
vending
most
machines.
everything is a conspiracy theory.
That's what I was thinking, because on this level, I just want to know from your opinion of what's going on.
So they're trying to restructure a few things to where it runs a little more efficiently.
Yeah.
So like they are taking some machines out, but it's for first class letters, which are dying. And everybody knows that. That was the bread and butter of the Postal Service for decades, was the letters. But now the volume on those is garbage. Like, it's nothing. So they took out one of our machines. They took a few out from Salt Lake, I think, and they're just combining runs. So now instead of having Springville, Payson, and Spanish Fork separate runs, we combined all of them into one run. And so it's a huge run, but it's all, like, in one to kind of reduce the amount of teardown time, which is like pulling the letters off the machine and putting them in the trays and, you know, tearing it down and putting it out to the dock.
So do you think that people would get their letters quicker or a little more delayed because of this?
It's the same.
It's the same?
Yeah, it
so
doesn't really
effectively
matter.
the same?
Yeah. As far as I've seen, the whole, like, they're ruining us to where we can't handle the volume, that's ridiculous because we handle election seasons every year. And we have a lot of election mail that flies through there, like a shit ton. And even just Provo's, our area, we probably process, like, even though we're down a ton compared to what we used to be, it's probably still like 250,000 letters a day. And so even if everyone got a ballot, all we would have to do is just start early and go. Because we can process a lot of fucking mail. The biggest problem we're having now in our area is the machines are old and shitty, and no one knows how to fucking fix them, so they're just trash. And so there are things being not necessarily delayed, but like it's delayed internally, but not delayed externally.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the runs being so big, it takes longer to get them done. But the machines are just trash right now. But
yeah, the post office is not scared to throw a copious amount of overtime at people.
No,
to get
they're
things
not.
Done, so.
And it's weird because I hear stories of like, you know, areas with like weeks of mail in the back room, and I'm like, really? Because we just work a fuck ton of overtime and get it done. Like they said they want to get rid of overtime, but I don't think they've actually actively stopped it. Unless it's certain regions that are doing it, I don't know, because like our main office is like Denver, right? So like, if Denver says no more, then we have to try to cut it. But it's like we haven't delayed the mail because we couldn't get it done. Like we just stayed later.
I guess for at least this area of the country, then no, there's no reasonable slowdown.
No, and then I saw people like freaking out that they're taking away. Like the blue boxes, the old postal boxes.
No one uses them.
No one uses those, yeah. That's what you guys got to realize is like... They've been taking those...
I can see in areas like high-density areas like New York and stuff like that where you're having post boxes in places is good. But like, really, if no one's using a post box here, like here on a corner somewhere, and the upkeep for that isn't worth it anymore... And just have people drive maybe a mile further to the post office itself to drop off a letter.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And plus, you can just put it in your fucking
mailbox.
In your own mailbox.
Yeah,
like what's the problem with putting your own mail in the mailbox?
Yeah, so they are removing those, but they've been removing those for years because people just don't use them.
It's the problem. The problem is people grab onto one thing and panic. That's what happens.
In apartment complexes, there's actually, you know, if you're big mail bricks, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
There's actually a slot for you to put mail in. That you want mail to go out.
There's an outbound, yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't either. And whenever when I lived in a home with its own separate mailbox, you just flip the red flag up and then they take what's in there and then they give you your new stuff. Like that was... So it's weird. Yeah, it's weird that everyone's losing their minds. But yeah, most of it's conspiratorial. And then they are trying to restructure things to make it less of a money problem. They want to try to fix it. But... I don't know. There's a lot of...
the post office has been losing copious amount of money for forever.
It's been like almost 20 years. So trying to find
ways to get money. I've just seen campaigns online for people just trying to buy up stamps to help save the post office and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen anything from that or something that you've noticed or said about it?
I don't know. I haven't really seen any of that.
I saw an Instagram...
Oh, I saw something online, yeah.
I saw an Instagram person, and she was posting pictures of her in like post office outfits. I wanted to send it to you and say, look, you're saved.
Yeah.
Your queen has saved you.
Influencer has done your job, huh?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't mail my bills, and I work there. I'm not going to mail them because it's dumb. I just won't do it.
Mailing is dumb, especially because of the internet.
Yeah, it's killed a lot of stuff. Like I'll mail, obviously, when we send out stickers and stuff like that. Obviously, I have to mail those.
I can see, like, writing letters and stuff, and I don't know. I just feel like first class mail, like people sending stuff, should just become something that's special instead of something that's just commonplace.
Yeah, it should be like a pen
and the
pal
government
thing.
work itself would be so much faster as soon as we switch to, secure. I mean, the thing with internet is it's not 100% secure. Same with email or snail mail. It's not secure, but there's just got to be a method that everyone trusts.
I think it's more secure than the internet. I think more people trust the mail.
No.
I think it. I don't trust. I mean, here's my
I don't trust
analogy.
mail because I've had mail not show up.
Yeah, I have too. But here's my analogy: is I'm willing to play poker for money in person, but I'm not willing to play poker for money online. I've never done it, and I don't think I ever will. And it's not because I think that it's definitely stacked against me and someone's definitely ripping me off. It's just that's one of those things that I just don't trust. And we're millennials here, and I don't trust the internet to not fucking steal money from me playing poker.
I don't trust the internet for a lot of stuff.
And that's why
I don't trust the internet for voting because you make it. Yeah, I don't trust the internet for voting and knowing a lot of what goes behind the scenes for like payment gateways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Only trust reputable sites with your money is what I have to say, and only trust those who have insurance against your money in case things go wrong, like banks and stuff like that. Because it's so easy to fucking mess something up to where latency or internet traffic to one site is super long. You hit the pay now button and you wait and you hit it again. You actually sent the request twice because they forgot to put in a check to see when you already hit it once, and so every time you hit that button you get charged again and again and again.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that that's super easy to fix, but sometimes people just forget to do it. Only trust sites that have been around for a while and do troubleshooting and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why I think there's a place for the mail. Is because I don't trust the internet completely, and we're not even old, Like I wouldn't want to vote online. I think that's ridiculous,
It just makes it to where
it's too easy to cheat. Yeah,
it's not that it's too easy to cheat. There's things you can do to verify people, but it's easier to have one person, if they do finally make it through and attack it, one person can change so much more than with a standard voting system.
Yeah.
But that's why voting poll machines, even though it's technically you're voting on a computer, it's air-gapped. It's not connected to any network.
Yeah, it's completely separate from everything. So there is no ability to get in and hack it. And the funny thing about the whole, everyone needs to mail in vote, it's like everyone's going to Walmart still. And you know how many people how many fucking polling stations I've seen that are busier than Walmart? Zero.
I mean,
Zero.
if you're
Never.
prepared, I mean, what they could easily do for a polling station to manage flow.
I think we've gone a little far afield, guys.
I know.
Let's rein it in.
Is to have people schedule time slots to when they want to appear to vote, and then just have a manageable amount of people who are only showing up in their time slot.
Yeah.
And if you miss your time slot, you have to go to the end, basically.
Yeah, that or just have more stations. And if the pandemic, if we're going to take this seriously.
And then just have someone wiping down the machines after every person votes.
Yeah. I've never had a problem voting here, ever.
Never.
And this is the most red state
easy.
in the country.
Yeah.
And not a problem ever.
Yeah.
And if you can go to Walmart, you can go to a fucking polling station. So most of the postal stuff is conspiratorial. They are trying to cut down on useless waste, and it has some growing pains, as it always will, but it's mostly people freaking out about things that are happening, but for good reasons.
They could send the census people out with voting tablets.
Yeah, that's true.
So every time you register to vote with the census, and census people come to your home, you vote through their voting tablet.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be crazy.
That is crazy.
You could fraudulence the shit out of that. But anyway, yeah, Craig's right. We went far.
We went very far.
From the question. I don't even
Not
know
only
what the question
just from
was.
the question, but you went back into political territory, which we said
That's
was
not
off
political
limits.
territory.
Talking about voting and stuff is
That's
a
not-
bit political.
It's not. It's political in the fact that we're talking about politics in general. It's not political by arguing any ideologies.
Yeah,
It's more or less. It's his experience day to day at the post office, and it just happens to be his jobs.
We knew
in the
exactly
store.
Talking
where that
about
was going.
How polling stations is less busy than Walmart is not talking about Schweiss's job.
Well,
No.
that's one of the concerns that is around the restructuring that's going on is that it's impossible to vote by mail. So that's one of the concerns people have had.
It's not impossible.
Well, I know it's not. That's what I was saying.
Anyway, how was Suikoden?
Eh. You know.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's dive in. Let me pull up a trailer here.
Do they even have a trailer?
You know, I don't actually know. Those old games used to have trailers, though. You know, we had...
I don't
Is
know.
it gonna be like that
unless
1991
it was a
Sonic
really
commercial?
big one, I doubt that they have like
Maybe it's in Japanese.
cheesy
Great.
90s commercials.
We got one right here.
Oh,
Suikoden
really?
2 trailer, 1999.
Konami made this?
Yeah.
This went back when Konami used to care.
We'll find out in the review.
That was every cutscene in the game, by the way. There's like fucking 4 cutscenes in this entire game.
Nice 30-second trailer.
Yeah, the trailers used to be so half-assed back in the day. Like, that was such a half-assed trailer.
How do you hype a kid up with that though? I don't understand. Like you think it'd be a little more flashy because they want the kids to buy it.
I don't know. They just don't know. They don't know their market is their problem.
Yeah, you gotta get some like cheesy like cereal commercial shit in there too.
Yeah.
Where they get like overhyped.
Suikoden 2.
So Suikoden 2 is a role-playing video game developed and published by Konami for the PlayStation. Obviously, the second Suikoden game. It was released in 1998 in Japan, early 99 in North America, and 2000 in Europe. And yeah, I guess it takes place a few years after the original Suikoden, which we didn't play. Sadly, I kind of wish we would stop getting sequels that have connected prequel games, you know.
I mean, if the story is not connected, it doesn't really matter. But
Well, it depends on who you ask.
It would have been nice.
Most people I've asked about it said it doesn't really matter that much. One person said that it very much does matter, so I don't know. Maybe
well, I mean,
he's a purist.
probably because like you can only get certain characters if you have a save file from the first one.
Yeah, that is what happens. There's a couple things like that. So the game starts out. You are basically, it's centered around a adopted son of a hero called Genkaku, who saved the city-state of Joustin in a war against the Highland years ago. So the protagonist, who I named Husk, of course, and his best
Husky
friend,
Boo Boo.
Joey Atreides, the Duke.
Oh yeah, that got me hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you do a jihad in this game?
They kind of try to do one against you, I guess.
Oh, is there spice in this game?
Joey is such a
There are
stupid
spices
name.
for cooking, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Joey or is it Joey?
I just
Well,
said
it's
Joey.
J-O-W-Y.
I thought it was
So-
Joey. This is retarded way to spell Joey.
And it could just be a retarded way to spell Joey. Again, just Joey sounds like a more normal name than Joey.
Yeah, but that's
His name is
that's a
Janu-
stupid.
is it
Maybe we're just
spelling?
pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah, maybe. It could be Joey.
No, like even beyond that.
What if it's Jowly?
Joey.
Joey? Maybe. Fuck, I don't actually know.
It's just like Phil.
So the game pretty much starts out with you and your buddy, and you're all pumped. You're going to go to war. You're in this little battle tent, and you're, hanging out. You're working together. It's a youth division of the Highland Army. And Luca Blight is the Prince of Highland, and Captain Roud, who is your commanding officer, basically slaughter everybody in your unit and try to kill you. So it starts out with a betrayal immediately within this game. So like your guys are being killed by people that are friends with you, and it's to create the illusion of combativeness from another nation, kind of a thing. Like it's to basically justify.
It is Joey.
Is it Joey?
Yeah.
Is it just like it was the Japanese characters for Joey that they then translated?
So the
into
Romanji
English?
for his name is Joui. They pronounce it Joey. But
Okay.
then they put it Jowy for the English translation for some reason instead
probably
of
just
just
a poor
making it
translation.
Joey. But whatever.
It's
now
probably
we
just a
know.
poor translation.
I always said Joey.
I always
but
said Joey because I hated Joey. I hated
Joey.
saying Joey in my head.
it's like a.
Because I'm
It's like
pretty
a.
sure with the WY it would be Joey.
It's a really fucked up like New York accent. Joey, come on! It's like the crazy like. It's like they've got like
Does he get to use a red-eyes black dragon at all in this game?
no. Sadly, you fight dragons, I guess, kind of. So, yeah, basically, it starts out with an orchestrated killing.
So he pulls is it the shepherd dude from Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it's basically to blame it on the nearby state of Joustin. So that gives him a reason to invade Joustin. You guys escape being killed by jumping off a cliff into a river. So you just do the classic jump away thing. So you guys meet again, and you get fucking like pulled out of the river by a group of mercenaries. And I guess these guys were in the first game, and you can kind of feel that. They seem like they were kind of part of it. And their names are Victor and Flick, and they're basically these mercenaries, and they got their little merc camp, and you're kind of trapped in there, and you have to do little chores for them because you're like their bitch because you're a bad guy in their eyes. And then eventually you try to escape, and they kind of recapture you, and then they convince you, hey, we should all work together, kind of a thing. And you eventually reunite with your sister in the game too. So you meet up with her, and her name is Nanami. And you and her get tried as spies against Highland and sentenced to death. But you end up getting saved by Victor and Flick, and they bring you back to the Merc tent. And so now they are on the chopping block, and they're basically trying to kill you and your group of bandits. And that's kind of what the game is at this point. It's
You're a group of bandits.
well, you're just like kind of a ragtag group, and it's more mercenaries, I guess. There's some mercenary group led by these two guys, and that's basically what the game is you going around fighting battles and uniting the people against Highland, who is this invading army, and Luca Blight, who is their king. The prince in the early parts of the game, and it becomes their king. And you're just kind of recruiting random people from villages and like doing little quests for them and like getting them to join up so that you can then use them as playable characters, which is kind of like the game's big thing. It's like over 100 recruitable people in there. It's crazy, and they each kind of have their own little storylines too. It's really cool. It's one of the only games like this I've ever played. But yeah, you guys get fucking slammed. They attack your little mercenary camp, and you guys survive, and a bunch of your other buddies survive too. And then you hear a story. You meet up with Lady Annabelle, who's in a nearby city of Muse, and she tells you a story about your adoptive grandfather. And he died right before the game started, basically. And you guys are asked to spy on the Highland camp, and then you try to escape, and Joey, I guess, gets captured when you guys are spying on these guys. And then he promises to catch up with you, and he eventually does reunite with us. And it's a while though, so like it sucks because you and Joey have like awesome combos together. One of the things in this game,
it's like the early part of the game, your and Joey's combo was better than anything else you had at that point because it would do great AoE damage to your entire enemy party.
Yeah, so
everything
losing
else you had couldn't compare.
Losing him was really brutal. I was not a fan of that. So after a little while, you're basically just the next little bit. You're trying to like unite different areas, like different communities, different cities together, city states to combat the Highland Army. So you have like this summit thing.
Yeah, because the mercenaries are overrun. Yeah, Joey's captured. So you have the summit with the city-states, and all the different representatives of each state came there, and you had to they had to vote on whether or not they would help defend against the Highland Army who was marching in and starting to take over the place. In my mind, it's like, well, if they're taking over this place, why wouldn't they take over your place? And they're just like, no, they'll never come fight us.
Yeah,
They'll leave us alone.
And they
stupid.
It is pretty stupid. It's kind of like a split on what people want to do. So half of them want to join up, a bunch of them don't want to join up, and they think they're safe. And then the lady who's holding this thing, like the I guess the leader of this town, her name's Annabelle, and you guys go to visit her. It's the town of Muse. That's where you go, and you go and visit her, and then you find that she's been fucking murdered by Joey.
No, so Joey eventually
her.
comes back. So you're waiting out there for Joey, and he does actually come back, and you're like, oh, yeah, Joey's back. And then as you're doing stuff around the city, you see Joey talking to a shadowy character and stuff like that. He's like, okay, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah. And like, ooh, intrigue, what is he up to? He would never betray us. And he fucking betrays you. He goes and kills the leader of Muse City, Annabelle. And Muse, by the way, was the main capital area of the city-states. And so Annabelle being assassinated and then Muse coming under attack was like a major attack against the city-states themselves. And it kind of fragmented where the main base operation should be. Then I guess the second in command of Muse sees you holding Annabelle's body, and of course, since this is a video game, his object of reason is you're holding her dead body, so you must have killed her. So now I hate you.
Yeah. So Muse
fucking
turns
stupid.
Muse turns against you.
It's just like, oh, you're holding her dead body. You killed her. And if I fucking killed her, number one, why would I be holding her body like, oh no, you're dying in the middle of an attack? Could you not have like two fucking brain cells to like rub together to think that I might have just walked on this just like you did?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So after that, Joey opens the gates to Muse, and the Highland Army invades the city, destroys everything. You guys escape, and you go to South Window. It's a stupid fucking name.
Is it by the wall?
It honestly kind of.
Are there swept drips?
Down skeet.
So once you get to South Window, you're asked to travel to the city of North Window, which is actually Victor's hometown, to investigate weird shit that's been happening there.
So
this is fucked up.
Did we mention kind of why Highland Army is attacking and why they want to perpetuate? Or as much as we know at this point, it's all because of Luca Blight, like the son of the king of the Highland Army.
Yeah, he's recently taken over.
He's not technically taken over. He's in charge of the armies, and he's the one who's really pushing for Highland to rekindle this war between the Highland and the city-states and really push through. And he's really powerful and really fucking psychopathic and like just loves killing people, and that's what they show him. He's like, oh, I sure do get off on killing people.
And
oh boy, here we go killing again.
Oh
Exactly
boy.
what I thought, yeah.
And he's really the driving force and the main evil at this point. It's Luca Blight. Luca is the evil person, and it's about you and Joey getting back at Luca and stopping Luca. That's the whole point at this point.
But then Joey betrays you.
Right, but Joey betrays you. You don't know why.
Yeah, we're not sure why.
You don't know why yet, because you don't think Joey's evil. You think he has a reason for it. And but right now, the main whole plot of this game at this point is stopping Luca Blight.
Yeah,
and then South Window.
Yeah, and so you go to South Window, and the mayor basically asks you to travel to North Window, which, like I said before, was Victor's hometown.
Well, it's because girls were starting to go missing from town and like going to, I guess, that abandoned castle area, and they'd go missing in that in basically Victor's old hometown.
Yeah, and it's really fucked up because you go there and Victor is like, oh man, this place, like everybody that he knew died, basically. Like everyone that he knew died in this town, and it was this horrible accident, this like destruction that happened to it. And you go there and you fight a guy named Necklord. And Does he
have a huge neck?
Does he have
No.
a neck beard?
It's like Necro,
like dead
and
Necklord.
He's basically Dracula. He's Dracula.
And when you're fighting him, you
So
find
it's not Necrolord.
And it's Necklord, yeah.
Yeah.
You think is that a bad translation?
Probably.
Yes.
It's probably Necrolord is what they meant, but they just call him Necklord.
It's NEC though.
NEC, yeah. Not
So
Nick,
he doesn't have like Slipknot's lead singer's neck or anything. He's not like
but
crazy.
he's also
Corey Taylor throat.
purple, so it's like if Count Dracula grew up to become Dracula type of vibe.
Yeah, and then of course you run into, this is where it turns into Castlevania, because you run into a fucking guy from a family of vampire hunters who helps you fight Neck Lord.
Nice.
Fucking this priest, he has like the fucking priest collar and everything.
Yeah.
So he's not necessarily like Alucard or like someone from Castlevania. He's just like some fucking priest with a hat.
Honestly,
Apparently he's in the first game.
yeah, I imagine he would be.
His the Romaji for his name is
I mean, he needs to-
Nekurodo.
Nekurodo.
Necrodo. So yeah, it would have been Necrolord.
Yeah, Necrolord. That's a way cooler name.
Yeah.
Necklord. That makes it sound like he just works out his neck.
Yeah, it makes it sound like he lives in his parents' basement and tips his fedora.
He doesn't even have a neck.
That's what it sounds
Not
like.
in this image.
He just has ruffles.
Let me see.
Maybe it's
He's
an
hiding his
ironic
bite marks.
It's an ironic name.
Bro, he looks like a bitch.
He kind of is.
Yeah, you fuck him up. But so you fight him, and then you realize that this is Victor's old home.
So Victor's like, no, I killed you so long ago. He's like, you don't have that sword on you. The one sword that can stop me. The most powerful sword in the world. You don't have it on you, so I'm fine.
yeah,
Here's it, hey, man.
He's like, why? I thought I killed you years and years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but you killed an image of me. I am fine.
Oh, my God, really?
yeah.
Jesus.
And then you go to this cave and you find the sword, the sword is probably the second best character in the game.
Yeah, for the few bit parts it
sword?
has, yeah.
The sword talks, yeah, and the sword
So
basically.
you find out kind of a little more about the sword later in the story, but you don't find out too much. You don't get anything definitive about the sword. But yes, it's a sentient sword who's all powerful, and Victor treats it like it's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, and it like has a lot of banter with the Victor.
Yeah.
He like calls it out on stuff, and it like threatens to kill him.
And you have to, and
Okay,
then
that
that's
sounds
one of
rad.
the first boss fights. It's your party against the sword because Victor won't stop trash talking it
Yeah, yes,
because
you
he
have to.
abandoned it in the cave, and it's like, why did you leave me here? I'm an all powerful being, don't
this
you
game,
know?
this game sounds worth it for like this. Like,
It's pretty funny,
It's
yeah.
like again, yeah. We'll get into it.
The sword is the second best character. I think the best character is Victor, and then the sword is the second best.
Yeah,
And he uses the sword, so it's like.
yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot
It
of
doesn't
banter.
actually turn out being more powerful in actual gameplay wise, just story wise.
Victor's pretty strong, but yeah, no, there's stronger characters
and stronger weapons.
and stronger weapons. Yeah. So you get the sword and you go back and you fight Necklord, but then you realize it's not actually Necklord. You don't realize that
It's
yet. though.
it's another image of Necrolord.
Yeah. And then here's the fucked up part. Your main character decides to make the base the place where Victor lost everyone that he's ever loved. Like the town, the North Window, that becomes your headquarters.
It makes sense though.
It's
just
fucking
like
evil.
Hey, we're starting to amass people for resistance.
He saved
This
your
is
life.
This is a great place to like get everyone to be here. It's defensible and everything, and
Yeah, it is.
makes sense to
I
have
thought it
the
was
castle.
fucked up though.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, your family died here in front of your eyes. This is our home base.
And over there's where
You know that
Victor's family
graveyard?
was killed.
Yeah, that's Victor's dead dad, mom, sister, brother, and aunt right there.
That's where then Necklord stepped on his hamster.
Yeah,
It's just like going through. That's great.
it's just and so everyone just accepts it, and it's like, okay, this is our base of operations. And so now, whenever you're around in town and you convince somebody to join you, they just kind of go there and they're walking around town.
Yeah,
It's pretty
so
cool.
a huge part of this game at this point is you're finding different characters throughout the land to come join you, and you get a lot of them through story. Some of them they're kind of easy to find if you just wander throughout the game. You can find them. Others there are prerequisites you have to do in order to find them, and there's no way in any reasonable amount of time in playthroughs that you'd get all of the characters without looking at a guide. There's no way.
Unless you really explored.
Unless, I said in a reasonable amount of time and playthroughs.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm not going to spoil the replayability, but there's a lot there. There's a lot that you can do in this game.
So fucking
It's
I looked
crazy.
at it and it said there was like 108 characters.
recruitable characters, yeah.
then
And you need
like
all of them to get the good ending.
Only 40 or slightly more than that is
Holy
like
shit, really?
usable in battle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's some that you
So
join.
it's like about half or whatever.
There's some that join you and they do operations at your base. So like you can get like a rune master and you can use them to like put magic runes in your weapons and stuff. Or like you have
Yeah, a
one.
lot of
that-
the services that you have to go out to certain towns for, you can get people who provide that trade in your main town. So,
yeah. So your main base of operations becomes like pretty fucking bitchin'. And you have like your own economy and stuff too at times. Mm-hmm. Like when you get the chef, he will gain money over time by selling his wares, and like it becomes like a thing. It's really fucking cool.
Nice.
It's the only game I've played that really does it in this way.
I would have really liked to do more with the chef and actually win some of those cook-off competitions.
I won 2, and then I was like, I have to beat this game. So
I just
can't
didn't have enough ingredients at that point for him to win.
I can't. I restarted once. I lost one and I saved, and then I lost one and I restarted and I beat him. But I was like, I just have to finish this game.
But it just like what happens with the competition if you win? Like
you get their recipe.
Oh.
And then
what do the recipes do for you? I didn't actually eat any food.
They have like healing factors, and they can provide status effects as well.
See, they didn't make the whole cooking thing very important, but I guess like having some cool buffs and statuses would have been nice.
You know, with ingredients, I think you can actually farm, because I found seeds, but I never found a character that farmed. And there's an area where
there is an area you can farm.
It's like, it's fucking awesome. It's like, this game is fucking cool. There's so many cool fucking things in there, but I'm like, I don't have 200 hours to play this fucking game. But like, yeah, there's an area up top in your castle where it's like a terrace, and it's just, it has lines ready for planting. And I found seeds
I
in
guess
the game.
that's kind of tells you about the game, that you can beat the game without exploring an entire food feature of the game.
Yeah.
For buffs and stuff. Like, it's there, but it's not important.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have made certain fights easier. Who knows?
Maybe like super bosses that would probably be necessary for.
I
didn't have a need for. Yeah,
the final boss was brutal for me, but
final boss. Yeah, we'll get to it.
But so yeah, at North Window, that's your new base. You kind of set up operations there. You start learning. Here's where you start learning about runes. And your player, you and Joey both have like a rune. As
you have
part
a
of
true
them.
rune is what they're called. So there's runes throughout the land that you can embed into your hands and one into your weapon, depending on. And only certain characters can use certain runes, and certain characters have better affinity towards other runes than others. So you have to kind of know more about your character, what they're good with, and stuff like that, just so you can optimize them in the best way. But then you have people who have true runes, which is like super powerful,
It's
runes.
like it's almost like an ancestral
and
thing.
it becomes like a party view more than and you have the shield rune, or I forget what it's called, and then
bright shield rune.
Shield, and Joey has the black sword rune.
Yeah, and you guys are basically fated to fight each other. Is kind of what
you didn't know at that point.
Yeah, not yet, but you're meant to be like opposites.
Oh, by the way, his rune's so much better than yours.
Oh yeah, he's fucking crazy. You have characters that are better than him, but he's stronger than you by a lot.
As far as damage runes go, his is that black sword rune, whatever, is probably one of the best runes.
Yeah, I would say so.
You're just fucking stuck with a healing rune. Stupid. Why play a game where it makes your main character the fucking white mage?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. So, yeah, North Window's your new base. You start recruiting people.
And the people who can fight, there isn't like one set party that's the best party. Each character kind of has their specialty with either physical attacks or magic attacks. Each character has several different stats that they're good at. There's their tech skills, their magic, their physical attributes and strength and whatnot. And there's beast characters you can hire, and usually their powers are really strong, but their magic isn't. So I had one beast named Shiro, a big old wolf in my team. I gave him runes that made it so his frequency of which he could attack went up. So he would attack 2 or 3 times per turn, which is awesome because he can just keep going and knock people down and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have other characters, of course, who are your healers and do more long-range damage. Certain characters have short range, meaning they can only attack from your front row to the enemy's front row. Certain characters have medium range, which means they can attack from your back row to the enemy front row. Or if they're in your front row, they can attack both enemy rows. And then if you have a long range character, it means they can hit both enemy rows from the back.
Yeah, I saw like Schweiss fighting some dudes who had crossbows that were like hitting his back row dudes.
Yeah.
And then certain characters, one of the most powerful characters as far as magic goes, Luke, he's a short-range character, but he's also one of the strongest magic users, and magic doesn't care about distance.
His feelings?
Yeah. So he's a back row character for sure, since he doesn't have he's a short-range character to smack people, but he doesn't have much strength to really make use of his weapon, so I never upgraded his weapon, kept him in the back row, just used all sorts of fucking magic.
Yeah. So you get kind of some backstory with your adopted grandfather, Genkaku, and he and one of his buddies, his Highland friend and General Han, they had a duel, and it was to decide the fate of a town. And it's crazy because Genkaku's sword was like poisoned, like somebody coated it in poison, and he noticed it somehow. I don't know how the fuck that works. But
so back when the war was finally going to end, they had this friendly duel to see who would finally get this last town, and then Genkaku found out his sword was poisoned somehow, and so he wouldn't fight. He just refused to fight, and so he gave up that town. And that town where Joey's now from is part of the Highland because of that. They lost that town.
Yeah.
And people in the city-states hate Genkaku because he didn't fight, but then they also realize, I guess we kind of fucked him because we poisoned his sword.
Yeah, they called him a coward, and he was, destroyed. And this is all important because this is what basically allows your character to be chosen as the leader, the new leader of this new area.
Yeah, because you are the adopted son of Genkaku.
The Dunan Unification Army. And you're now... This is when you start recruiting, I guess, technically. So then you guys work... The rest of it is you basically just work together to convince the remaining city-states to challenge Highland. And a lot of times it's people are like, they're too strong. And you'll be doing these field battles, which are really cool.
The whole point of the city-states, and they've been fighting for so long up to this point, they know that as soon as they put their armies together, they can repel the fucking force from Highland. They know that if they, one last time, let's go fight them, they would have more fucking soldiers, and then this whole thing would be gone. They're like, they're only going to attack Muse, that's fine. They're only going to attack this place, that's fine. We don't care. They'll never attack us.
Yeah.
There's no reason to waste our soldiers into repelling this when we can have a massive show of force and dominate them with all of our forces at the same time instead of waiting until they're at your door to fight them on your own after they've already conquered so much. Fuck the reasoning behind that.
Yeah.
Fuck the stupid fucking story plot lines.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really resistant to joining because they think they're safe.
And
then a lot
stupid.
There's times where you'll be in these...
They've been fighting Highland forever. Why do they think they're safe?
I don't know, man. It's not my game.
Obviously, Highland broke the treaty that they were all like, they'll never break. They broke the treaty. And then all of a sudden, they're never going to fight us when they've been fighting you for so long to this point. Fuck you guys. If they broke the treaty, you should have been, they broke the treaty. We're now at full fucking war again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, it happens in real life, too. You look at, there's even if you look at World War II and stuff, America was pretty isolationist for most of it. We it's Europe's problem.
But there was no treaty at that. There was no
Europe's
agreed
problem.
upon treaty of
No
NATO didn't even
hostilities.
exist at that point. We were isolationist. There was no fucking agreement among countries or treaties in place to break at that point.
That's true. But I mean, we were really resistant, even though we knew the evils that were happening.
But there was no fucking okay.
So I can see
example. It's not the same example.
It's not quite the same, but I mean, it is similar. It's like, well, they're not attacking us, so why should we help?
That would be like after the League of Nations were formed, NATO was formed, and then now if someone breaks a treaty of not hey, we'll make a treaty, won't fight, and all of a sudden, now we're fighting, and that'd be like the rest of the native states going, it's fine, they won't attack us, even though you have a nation that's under attack that was part of the treaty.
Yeah.
That right there, it would never fucking happen. That's the only thing that's keeping Russia from grabbing up the Baltic states and other things again. The only reason it didn't work with the Crimean Peninsula is because the Crimean Peninsula was mostly Russian.
Yeah.
And Ukraine's super mad about it, but, Ukraine's Ukraine. Not part of the treaty.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And I mean, if that happened, there would be a lot of people that would come to stop that shit.
Yeah. So, it's not the same example, but let's move on.
Yeah. So it does kind of happen, but it's not. You're right. It isn't quite the same. But that's pretty much the rest of the game, and you'll even find this out in battles. They'll have these little field battles where it's just little units, and you'll have a isometric plane, and you'll move them around, and then you have to attack, and then it has this really cool little animation scene where your dudes are running into their dudes. Yeah,
sound like children going into war.
And then they hit each other in the middle, and then people will fall over dead, and then
this whole battle scene though, you have your attack power and your defense power, but it's still a lot of it's up to chance. It's
I think it's chance and also per turn. So I think if you hit them over and over again, it'll like reduce their defense. It seems like
somewhat, but there's sometimes like, especially with the range attacks like archery and stuff like that, sometimes they're just not effective.
Yeah, and sometimes they just fucking slam.
Until finally chance is in your favor and you slaughter all of them with one volley.
And and
sometimes characters, and then runes also come into play here on this scene too. A lot of cavalry units will have like evade stuff, and then they'll have like an extra chance to do critical damage. The kobolds will do that, where they can have a chance to do tons of critical damage, but their defense wasn't usually as good, and so they'd get slaughtered at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you have certain characters who have like fire spears, which do an insane amount of damage, or like lightning runes. And then you get certain characters later, like Luke, who can do like tons of wind magic from a distance.
Yeah. So that's where the Kobold Lives Matter. This is where the Kobold Lives Matter joke comes from. Because, like, okay, the kobolds are these dogs in the game, and like they're kind of
the master kobold looks like
he's a Doberman.
No. To me, he looks like shit. Come on,
like a German Shepherd. Or?
No, he looks like Master Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Master
Splinter?
The rat.
Splinter? The rat.
Splinter.
Splinter. Yeah, he looks like
Splinter.
Master Splinter, in my opinion.
But he's a dog.
But he looks like a Master Splinter.
But he's such a bitch in this game. Like he's okay. So like he'll join your team, but like to get him to join,
views from his point of view,
kind of. But he's also
he's
fucking
stupid.
with you.
But he's also stupid. So okay, so you go to this other city state and you're trying to get their help to defend, right?
Yeah.
Because the Highland Army's coming,
and they don't believe you.
And
they don't believe you.
They know they're coming. The Highland Army's marching towards
but they
them.
don't believe they're going to get
that.
attacked. Yeah.
No, they do believe they're going to get attacked. But the whole point is, okay, so you got the Master Splinter Kobold, and you have the leader of the main town there. There's some division between the town because the kobolds came, then the fucking like wingers, the fucking wingers.
Yeah, wingers. That's what they're called.
Yeah, they're called wingers.
Wingers.
It's like
nobody goes
weird,
to wingers, by the way.
Weird fucking bat wings.
I don't know how they're in business.
People. I don't know what they're just like people with bat wings, but then
wingers.
weird legs too. They like have like satyr legs and wings is what they look like.
Yeah, they're freaks. That's why nobody likes them.
And
there's like 3 levels of freaks. So there's the main town, then there's the shitty winger village, and then there's the kobolds. So the kobolds are
great,
like
though. But kobolds are just they're great. And so basically you have the kobolds and it's so funny how the levels of racism go, because humans don't like the kobolds because the kobolds came out of whatever, and then they both look down on wingers.
Yeah.
Both of them, even the kobolds hate the wingers. And
yeah,
so
they're all racist against the wingers.
The kobolds go around stealing stuff and doing stuff like that, and so now they're all trying to, just the kobolds and the humans are trying to agree on the defenses of the city. But then somehow the kobolds gain intelligence that the humans are going to accept the peace treaty and then attack the kobolds.
Yeah,
and so now the kobolds, not having a shred of fucking sense that they're going to do it, instead of thinking that the Highland Army sent that to them on purpose, to get them to divide. And so now since the kobolds won't fight with them, the leader of the city is like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to really have to accept the peace treaty because there's no way we could fight them anyway. And you try to convince them not to, but from his point of view, it's kind of logical.
It's kind of what he has to do, yeah.
Because they're going to destroy the city, and so he goes out to accept the peace treaty with them, but of course Highland Army is just out for blood, and so they come out and to attack. And so now you have this little attack scene where you're fighting waves of Highland Army people, but just as your own person, and there's no way we can ever defend them all. And then to the rescue comes the kobolds and wingers at the same time to defend the city that they love.
Yeah, and so they help, and then you guys are able to beat them back. And then the annoying thing is later in the game, you're in a big fight, and then he's basically throwing a fit because the kobolds are always in,
I think that was part of Shu's strategy, though. Because
they
come back later.
It was.
Yeah.
He was throwing a fit like a little bitch because he was like, oh, we're always in the vanguard. Why are we always getting killed in this thing? Because he's a dog, and they're just like, why are we always dying? You're always throwing us in the front line. And then he bitches out in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, man, this guy's such a fucking prick. This guy's an asshole. I've done everything for this fucking dude. And then, of course, it turns out that he was just feigning it, and they come in and they fuck him from behind.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because they didn't.
Because
they're like, oh, he's back! Huzzah! And then I charge with his unit, and they just get fucking massacred. It's just fucking it was amazing because it's like, oh my god, he's come back, we're gonna win, and then he fucking charges in and they just get fucking stomp.
Again, it's kind of RNG. Like the battles do matter, like which units that you send in. It really favors you attacking from a range, just because they can't attack you back if you hit them from a range. And then you could just keep flipping the fucking coin to see who wins.
Yeah.
And then when you're up close, certain units have a lot of defense. Like later you get one of the generals from the Highland side to come over to your side.
Kuba, yeah.
Kiba.
And
And Kiba has a really high defense. He has okay attack, but his really high defense really helps a lot. So
yeah, and then you're basically just going through and like during the fight, sometimes people will be like, wow, these guys are real. Like these guys are legit. They're going to hold off Highland, and then they'll turn coat against Highland because nobody likes Highland.
Right.
They're only on Highland's side because they think Highland's going to win.
And so at some point you realize you need more people to join. I mean, you want everyone to join. So you go over to the Matilda area to get the knights to join to help.
Yeah.
And the leader of Matilda, the Matilda Knightdom, he's fucking fat, and I don't know why he's just very obstinate, doesn't want to help, doesn't give a reason, just says fuck you, I'm not gonna help. It's just that's it, doesn't want to help. But then his two guards, the captain of the blue knights and the captain of the red knights, both throw off their badges and turn coat and come join your army. That's when you get a huge influx of like force to your army, to have like a whole bunch of the knights from the Matilda kingdom come join you.
Yeah, was that Kiba? Is that his thing?
No. That's not Kiba. That's Camus and
Camus, yeah.
Makarov.
The Camus and
Good old
Molotov.
Camus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Cam. He's pretty decent. I mean,
no, he's a great fighter, and he comes with Rage, which is the highest fire rune.
Yeah, I took that shit off of him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of people saying, no, we're not going to go for this because Highland's obviously evil. But the problem is they don't want to die, so they join up.
Yep.
And so you're really starting to change people's minds about your army. A lot of people are joining you.
You have them. It's still back and forth with Highland still winning the majority. Then you have to go find the one empire that most city-states still hate because they were fighting South Window a lot. And what's that city called? It's where you get either the ninja girl or the other girl to join you, that empire in the south.
Oh, fuck.
Like the southern something empire. Emerald Empire, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Anyways, you go make a long journey down there, and it's like, oh, you guys actually want to recognize us? It's like, yeah, we recently went through a revolution here internally. Like, the bloodthirsty people are no longer in charge. We are. Oh, you guys don't want to fight us anymore? You want us to be friends? Yeah, we'll be friends. Here, take some of our people.
Take my daughter. One of my two daughters. I wanted to choose the blonde one because
they're either of them are not daughters. But
I wanted to fuck the blonde one more, but I accidentally mixed up the names, and I chose the black-haired chick.
It's always about that. So
no, here's what it's about. Okay, this game, every chick in this game looks like you finally slid a finger in after you've been tongue punching her clit for like 5 minutes. I swear to God, they all look like they just came. You know what I mean, Cameron? Like the images on them, they're just like. It's like they're like kind of blushing. Their like eyes are like one of them's like drooping off to the left. Like they just had like a life altering orgasm every time, and that's the photo you get of each of these fucking female characters.
At this point, I'm confused.
Cross-eyed with climax.
How you can get max amount of characters, the whole 108 or whatever, because you have to choose one or the other, and both of them are recruitable characters, and so both of them would count to the 108. So if you choose one, you don't get the other, but if you choose one, you can actually recruit 2 more characters later down the road. Then that are decent. But if you choose the blonde chick, the one that he really likes, it has a really cool combo attack with another character that you've recruited at this point. So really, it's you can make a choice. If you make the choice of the one girl, you can get 3 people recruited right away, which really helps your army.
Yeah. So I chose the black-haired girl. Though.
I chose the black-haired girl first, and then my game fucking crashed like a couple hours later without me having saved because I had spent hours grinding because that was a great grind road for money. And then I went back and chose the other one just because.
No, that's crazy.
Which was a mistake because I should have chosen the other one because the more recruits, I should have just played a whole bunch of hours again instead of trying to skip. That's so stupid. Fuck the game. Craig's PS Vita struggled so much. He's like, yeah, sometimes it overheats and doesn't read the memory card anymore.
It's only happened to me like one time.
Yeah.
But I figured that's what it was. Like something happened and like disconnected.
During this big push for recruitment, by the way, Luca Blight actually sacrifices almost everybody in Muse to the Beast Room.
Somehow, like you go through, you don't know what's going on, but you just see all these souls being sucked out of Muse into this giant wolf head sigil in the sky. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then Muse is a ghost town.
Yeah, and then right as this is happening, Joey is like rising through the ranks. Basically, Joey's becoming a general in the Luca Blight's army.
Yeah, so there was one general who comes to fight against you, and he kind of fails. So Luca cuts off his head, and then Joey said, "Joey, fuck you." Goes, "Hey, I volunteer. Like, I have a plan to do it." He's like, "Nah, you sure you want to do it, kid?" And he's like, "Yeah, if I do it, then I have a request of you that you're gonna have to fulfill." He's like, "Oh, I hate you, but I like your gumption, kid."
Yeah, so he lets him do it, and then he ends up marrying the guy's sister when he succeeds.
So he marries.
Like, I really want to fuck your sister.
No, but then he lays down this maniacal plan, and he brings the Luca Blight in on it. Like the whole point at this point, what I thought was going to happen with Joey was he was going to help betray Luca Blight and then become in charge of
Highland,
and then that'd be the game. And
which
the war, which
part
would
of
make
it
sense.
Part of it happened. He did betray Luca.
So he did help betray Luca. And so, do we want to get to that part?
So after that, he eventually marries. Joey marries Julia Blight, who's Luca's sister, and right after that, the King of Highland is murdered.
This is so fucking stupid. Somehow Joey poisons his blood and takes a whole bunch of antitoxins so he doesn't die from it. And then part of the ritual, I guess, for becoming the son of the king is he has to drink a chalice of his blood. And so Joey, having poisoned his blood and put antitoxins in his blood, the king drinks it and dies immediately.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if Joey had taken a whole bunch of antitoxins, did he take the antitoxins right after he put the blood in? Because the poison acted really fast on the king.
Yeah,
so if he had the antitoxins in his blood along with the poison, the king would have drank both and then would have been fine.
This is when it starts becoming like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's Game of Thrones-esque.
It's
really like Game of Thrones because you have like the 7 city-state nations and Highland, which is the Northerners, I guess, northern aggression.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, and everyone has to unite, and then it becomes really, really fucking Game of Thrones by the end.
So they kill the king of Highland, which puts Luca in charge. And then I think we should just get to this part. And it's finally to the point where you've had fights back and forth around your headquarters and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're getting fucked, pretty much. Like, you're getting hammered.
They're getting hammered, and then you finally get you get some intelligence that Luca Blight's going to be moving towards the castle at night, and you're like, this is our only chance to, ambush him. And so this is the point where it's like you've built up to this point. You're finally going to fight Luca Blight, the main evil, right?
Yes.
Joey's in position to become king afterwards and stop the aggression from Highland, right? And this feels like this is
the end.
This is the end. This feels like this is the game. Everything built up.
This is the Game of Thrones.
To the point where you have to choose 15 or 16 of your followers that you want to have leveled up to be around your level, because this is a 3-phase boss fight against Luca, and it's great. This is a great boss fight. This feels like a great way to end the game. So for this fight, you have to pick 3 units. One unit, which is your main unit that you're a part of, and that's the people that you want to have to do your most damage.
Yeah.
You have Unit A, who starts the fight, and they only have to get Luca down to a certain amount of health. And then Unit B, who I think Luca does... I can't remember if it was just a Unit B fighters, just fighters who can throw a few punches at Luca for him to go into the next phase. So you have this awesome fight. You've had to pay attention to a lot of your characters at this point to get them up to a certain level. They have to have their weapons all up to speed. They have to have runes and stuff, which is not a cheap thing. Sharpening weapons and buying runes and stuff, it's not cheap. You're spending hours to get 15 characters up to this point to where they can all fight Luca.
Yeah.
So you're investing a ton of time, ton of resources into 15 or 16 different characters to fight Luca in 3 phases. And then you're all fighting Luca and stuff like that. It goes well, and then you finally beat him at the end, and you have this cool little thing at the end where he's like, haha, it took hundreds of you to finally take me down, but I've killed thousands and stuff like that. It feels like the end of the game.
It's awesome. He's getting shot up with arrows. It's like Boromir's death. He's fucking... His dudes are trying to save him, and you're just blasting them down with
the whole
barrages.
Game up to this point. Mind you, this is 35 hours of game at this point.
Yeah, for us.
This is a long time to be playing a game, and this feels like the final fight. And the whole end scene, everything like it, that is the end.
So
you fought Luca,
yeah,
and you beat him.
And then it's so what it is it's season 8 of Game of Thrones, but backwards. So you fight the zombie lord with his undead army at the end, instead of fighting the leader of the fucking evil empire.
This is more
first.
or less where if the White Walkers were extremely just a side thing and not really that important to the story at all.
Yeah.
Because Necklord did not need to fucking happen at all.
That's true, yeah.
Nothing from his storyline makes a fucking difference.
He's way less important than the White Walker, so it's more of a betrayal, I would say. But after you kill Luca, you're like, oh man, it was an amazing fight.
It was an amazing
cool.
boss fight. That was a A+ boss fight. Like
3 phases,
game mechanic, 3 phases, 3 different parties of people that really made you invested in your B cast. It made you really invested in people you've been recruiting at this point. To me, it was a great way to finally, hey, I'm recruiting all these people, and it's just a flavor of who you want to be in your party. No, it's you actually need to train people up because you have multiple different parties you need to play with. That your main character is not a part of. And that was great. That was a cool thing. I wanted to see more of that, to making more of the people you recruit more important throughout the game, not just people you recruit and forget about.
The only game that was similar to that to me was Final Fantasy VI at the end, where you had you go through the final area with 3 separate parties doing 3 separate things.
Yeah, there's like 12 characters.
And it's not easy if you didn't give those guys attention. Like, and my third party was like the Retardo party, and they were bad. And in that game, it was hard.
Spend a shitload of time grinding.
They were not ready for that final dungeon. It's because I didn't fucking play with them. So it's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that. So you had to play with them. You had to be invested with them. You had to level them up. You had to give them good gear and good armor, which probably took like 5 hours to get all the players up to the good amount of levels and gear, adequate amount of gear. But then they're B cast for a reason. They just don't have as good affinity with runes and just don't have as much of as good of attack, but it's doable.
Yeah.
But the third really one made you invested in your characters.
Yeah, the third one is just the help,
which is why it felt. Oh, the third one, that third group was the phase with you in it, and that was supposed to be your main damage dealing phase.
Yeah. The first one was the help. It was the cook and the fucking like.
I didn't ever put the fucking
Franz, the innkeeper guy. It's like, oh, hello.
Fucking pans. Is this a fucking anime?
Yeah,
smacking people with fucking frying pan.
Dude, that's how you gotta end the.
I think he's a good.
You gotta beat the game with the dude who just has a frying pan.
I think he has a good affinity with fire stuff, though, fire runes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so he might be a good damage dealer.
I didn't even fuck it. I was like, "Are you serious? I'm not gonna take the chef. He needs to cook."
You always take the chef, man.
Dude, Final Fantasy IX as a chef. Yeah, I beat the game with him.
Dude, in Monster Hunter World, I would 100% hunt.
Is he a chef, or is he just a? He's the path of the gourmand. He just eats.
So you finally
he could probably cook too.
You finally kill Luca Blight. The aggression's done, and so now you're going to go meet up with Joey.
Yeah, and the assumption is
to like talk about the peace treaty and like put peace again in the land.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the game.
Right.
Now, this is the world to where you're wrapping up. Because I've spent fucking 30 hours in the game at this point.
And Joey, the assumption is Joey is going to ascend to the king, and he does.
And he does because he's now
through his
king.
marriage.
Yeah.
And that it's going to kind of end the hostilities.
Yeah, that is a reasonable place to end the game.
It is, yeah.
No, there's something Joey's not telling you about. He needs to continue the aggression. He needs to keep fighting, and he tries to ambush you in Muse to kill you or capture you to help end the war from his point of view, because he wants to take over everything now. Why, Joey? Why do you want to take over everything now? Like, what's your motivation at this point? Like, we're all still friends, and you are. Joey's not. He's not evil at this point. He's just like, I got to do this. And so you now we're wondering why Joey needs to do it. But in my opinion, the game's over at this point. Everything else after this is just stuff they could have just made another game out of, another 30-hour fucking game out of.
Playing with their dicks at this point.
Anyways, now that Joey's still aggressing, you then need to go to this other area that's further up northwest. It's kind of this mining desert type area, and this is where you're now tracking down Necklord. He's now a part of the game again.
Yeah, what was that town's name?
There's Tinto.
Tinto, yeah. I would always, whenever I would travel there, I'd be like, Tinto! Oh, is it Tinto? it was kind of fucked up, but
And
we're going to Tinto.
and then
That's where all the action
And then
happens.
you go-
Fucking Tinto.
you go up north to one of the other city states, who's basically they're a mining economy and stuff like that. And
and
then,
Crom Village is there too.
Yeah, Crom-
it is
Crom.
not as cool as it should be.
no, Crom's not cool.
Crom
They
sucks.
don't worship
Yeah.
Crom there.
No,
And so
it's a hovel.
once you're up to that city, the Gustav dude with the eyebrows. His name's Gustav, right? Look up Gustav Suikoden II, and you can see his fucking eyebrows. But anyways, you're there and you realize the Necklord's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna come move in. This seems like a great place for me to be with my zombie horde. And then Gustav's like, oh no, we're gonna have to fight the zombies. We'll do it though. And then the fucking dude from Muse, the second in command who blames you for the death of Annabelle, he shows up too. He's like, nah, the city states should defend the city states. Fuck you. You killed Annabelle. And it's like, dude, no, I didn't. Like, fucking calm down. And so you're having to plan with them and their forces.
Dude looks like Brock's father from Pokemon.
Oh yeah, he kind of does. Yeah, it looks like.
And then that the stand-in mater for Muse and his second in command Hauser, who controls their troops.
Yeah, Hauser and the Doberman are like the worst fighters in the game. The Kobolds and then Hauser's unit. Every time I'm in a fight with them, they just get fucking just laid out. Like just no
I don't
fucking
know if
chance.
you take that character and actually level them up if they get
Hauser.
better. If
Yeah.
their unit gets better, would that make sense? If their unit gets better if you train them?
I think I don't know
'Cause I
Maybe
never
it's 'cause
played
I
with
didn't
them,
play
maybe.
yeah. Did he
Maybe.
get fucked in yours too?
Hauser?
Yeah.
I mean, he died a couple times, but he's never gone.
Oh yeah, he's not dead. He's just not useful anymore in the fight.
But anyways, at this point, you go to sleep, and then you wake up to find out that the Muse guy and his Hauser dude went to go fight Necklord head on, I guess. So they just went to go fight him, and their whole unit's fucking turned into zombies at that point. The battalion of zombies are now infiltrated the city of Tinto. And now you're trying to sneak. You go through the tunnel and you find the Necklord, you and your sister, and you have to run away and come back in the city. And there's zombies everywhere. And you finally, I guess you pass out or something. Your sister has to drag you out, and you wake up in Crom. And then you meet up with Khan, dude, the vampire hunter.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know this one lady who can help us fight. And you go over to this other city, and you meet a vampire chick there, and she's the one who kind of gives you background to where I think your sword is also a vampire that got turned into a sword. Because she knows the sword that Victor carries.
I didn't catch that. She doesn't know it. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Maybe
talk
that's what
back and
happened.
forth. I think he might have been a vampire at some point, a super powerful vampire who's just now a sword because he fucking wants to be, or something like that.
Yeah. You just get
I don't
to,
know.
You get to do.
Anyways,
what you want.
I guess
she's
the
a.
sword has a bigger part.
You have to
in
fight
the
her.
first game.
You have to fight
Yeah.
her to make her feel something because she's bored and just wants to sleep. And she
I
joins
feel that,
you.
actually, like,
and
hardcore.
she's a decent magic caster. She has the darkness rune on her, but Luke is still a better magic caster. So I gave the darkness to
I played with Luke too. He was in my final
Luke.
fight.
Yeah, Luke, because Luke is the best magic user in the
He's
game.
kind of a cunt, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he's the best magic user in the game, so you have to have him. So
Yeah, I
you
used him.
recruit the vampire chick, because at this point you can't choose who's in your party to fight Necklord. You have to use those people.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I put him in the. I didn't fight with them. I put him in the caravan.
I should have done that. See,
You really-
in
you
this
really
game,
should
if
have
you
done that.
accidentally, if you don't put someone in the caravan,
They take up a slot in your party.
and then you can't remove them.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
forced to have them. You can't retroactively say, "Hey, go be in the caravan."
Yeah.
I hate it when the game forces you to use people you don't want to use, especially Nanami, your sister. I hated using her in my party.
Oh, I had her in my party all the time. That's
I
why it
didn't.
was hard to beat the final boss because I had Nanami. Like,
Yeah, you fucked up. And then see, she has great speed and she has a good crit chance, but she's still just a physical attacker.
Wait, is there not a way to change who's in your party later?
there is.
There is,
Okay.
but there's certain characters it forces you to take for
there's
story
certain
reasons.
parts that the story forces you to, or it'll
And
ask you if you want to just bring them with you.
But you
or
can
put
never
them
do
in
that to your
party.
sister. There's one point where it's like, "Oh, you're going to take me with you for sure, aren't you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not taking you with you." She's like, "Oh, but you will." I'm like, "No, you won't." And then it just forces her in your party. I'm like, "I fucking didn't want you in my fucking party because you're not leveled up." Anyways,
I used her every time. I had her the whole game. That's why the
she
end
has
was
great
hard.
attack speed and
'Cause
she
she was
has a
not
good
there
crit
anymore.
chance. But I still think that Shiro is a better physical fighter than her.
He is. I don't know why I stopped using him. I used him a lot in the beginning. Like his.
What you need to
his
do with
attacks were
Shiro
crazy.
is put him with either the There's the double beat, which gives them 2 attacks, but then there's the other one, which gives them
that was my
crit
ultimate.
chance.
That was my ultimate in high school. The double beat.
Double beat. And so he does. So Shiro does really well for physical attacks. And so, but at this point, you go to Tinto and you fight Necklord with your party, and it's the point where he stole a rune from Sierra, who's that vampire chick, and that's what's giving him a whole bunch of power. So you finally get it to a point where you back him up into an area where Khan drew a rune down on the ground to where he couldn't turn into bats and fly away. He had to stay in there, and you beat him down to where he's like, oh hey, no, I'm sorry, like I'll stop, I'll go away. And she's like, oh well, give me the rune back and we'll see. And so he gives the rune back. She's like, oh fuck you, you're gonna die now. And so Victor just straight up kills Necklord finally. And that was like a couple hours of gameplay that doesn't matter to the rest of the story.
Yeah, because after that you then so okay, here's where it's Game of Thrones, right? So it turns into Game of Thrones because it's the opposite, though, because the battle for the throne was the Luca Blight thing, and then that's over. But instead, in Game of Thrones, it's
Luca Blight was the true ending of the game.
Yeah, the zombies
at that point.
The zombies, the Battle of Winterfell happens after.
And it's just so much of an afterthought. Like, Necklord needed to have nothing to do with the game unless it was something to do as character progression for Victor, as like to unlock his true ability or whatever. But it was story. It wasn't a side thing. It wasn't anything to help Victor with. It was just something you just had to do.
I think it would have been better as a side thing.
It would have been better as like a side character story progression,
or if it would have happened before the end. Because I think Luca Blight's death and then the stuff with Joey, I think that would have been.
It's so anticlimactic. That whole fight is such a letdown compared to the fight you just came out of.
And it's funny because when I fought him,
Necklord is a bitch when you fight him.
He kind of is, yeah. And like
especially if you bring your sister, because I guess if you bring a young girl in your party, he only attacks that, which is the actual thing.
Oh,
he will focus all of his attacks on your sister.
I had her, yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Victor actually did kill him in the fight. He did like a crit for it was like 2,700. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, so when Victor crits, he fucking crits, which is why I put killer or something on him, which increases his crit damage.
He hits hard.
Yeah.
And then I had it to where
which is the only way to make a physical attacker do anywhere near the same amount of damage as magic users do.
Yeah, the hard thing, though, is the magic users run out of mana. So
or just rune slots, yeah. But usually I kill the thing before that happens. But
yeah, but yeah, and then I had a thing where if I would do a spell, sometimes it had a chance to berserk, and then when Victor had berserk and he would crit, it was crazy.
So that was one strategy I didn't do when I was showing you guys playing the final boss, where I'll actually use the healing spell right at the beginning, to get the berserk status.
So what I would do, I would do that move from Luke that damages everybody.
Yeah, the world eater.
The world, the fucking
empty
Cthulhu beast.
Yeah,
and then I would heal right after that, because if you do that empty world,
only if
he'll hit first.
Will he hit first?
He will in mine, but only if I'm doing that move.
High enough.
Only if he's doing that move. If not, I'll heal first. So I hit him with that. I hit everybody, and then I healed up, and then everyone was berserked, and then my guys hit with berserk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was awesome.
So
it sometimes didn't work though, because I would hit myself too hard, and then I would get fucking slammed.
So now you have Muse's forces joining you, and then you have Gustav's Tinto's forces joining you.
Yeah. So you kill that, and it's, I thought it was kind of cool that Victor finally got his revenge on the guy who killed his whole family and everybody he loved. But again, you're right. It's way less awesome than the whole Luca Blight section of the game, and it's really kind of a lame way to pace it.
At this point now, it's just you trading blows with Joey. A lot of those major battle things where you're fighting back and forth trying to get the upper hand. Joey gets Matilda Knights to join his side.
Yeah, and Joey's big move, he was trying to bring peace to the land. It's kind of what he was trying to do.
Well, you don't know that yet.
Well, that's kind of what you find out.
Thanks for spoiling the game.
Well, he goes, I'm trying to bring peace to the land by having everyone underneath just one ruler, me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm doing the same thing, Joey. I'm just trying to beat you back and stop your aggression.
Yeah, so this is when everyone pretty much joins up with you, and you...
Except the Matilda Knights. And so now you're at the part where...
That's true, yeah.
Where you get to the point where you need to raid the castle of Matilda and to go kill the forces inside and destroy the flag to make the other Matilda Knights forces surrender outside the battle to have Joey's army lose them. And so you go into the castle, a whole bunch of fights inside the castle till you get to the point where you and your sister go run up to destroy the flag, and the rest of your party stays behind to kind of prevent the knights from following you. And then you go up the stairs, and then Joey is there waiting for you, and then Guido, the leader of the Matilda Knights, and his band join up, come up to you guys after you're talking with Joey. And then the knights shoot their crossbows, and then your sister Nanami goes, "Oh, just like grandfather showed me," and she does the thing where she's blocking all the arrows out of the air, and then she gets hit by one. She's like, "Nah."
Just like Grandpa showed me.
I've been shot.
Yeah.
And then Joey gets super mad, and you and Joey get to fight together one last time against one of Joey's allies. And this is where you learn how fucking badass the rune he has really is. It just does fucking damage. It's just all it is. It's just fucking damage. And you got the fucking Fury Healing rune. And so you kill the Guido dude. And then Joey runs away. Then you're left holding your sister in your arms. And the whole time I'm thinking, hey, you know what? You have the fucking fairy healing rune. You could fucking heal your sister right now. Like you've been doing this whole fucking time. And none of this would fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like just fucking yank it out and throw your fucking healing magic in there. Like you've been doing to this whole point. But of course magic breaks storytelling. So you call the doctor, and the doctor says,
No more Justin
on the bed.
Yeah.
so the doctor comes to, and the doctor comes in, you bring her in, and this is the point, if you have been recruiting everyone, she lives, because you've recruited everyone, the doctor has the strength to save her, but if you haven't recruited everyone, he doesn't. She dies.
Oh my God.
And then everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry. She died. Sorry.
She's just like a grandpa.
Yeah, you didn't expect it. Like, I was like, really? She's going to die?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, that's the whole hinging point for the good ending versus the bad ending. If you had recruited everyone at that point, she won't die.
She really has her grandpa's eyes. Dead.
And then you're finally at to the point where you're going to attack the Highland at its... we skipped over parts where we liberated different cities. Of course you're liberating them, like Green Hill.
Yeah.
And you get to the point where you're trying to get pushed into the Highland territory, where you go to liberate Muse, and they retreat and stuff, and you go into Muse. It's like a ghost town, and you find there's a whole bunch of like wolves there that you have boss fights against the golden wolves and stuff like that. But then that really didn't have much, didn't change the story much, because you just run away and leave Muse.
Yeah.
And then you finally get to the point where you're now attacking the main castle. You've beaten their forces back enough to where now you're at the Highland Castle, and now you're pushing through to, I guess, get to Joey.
Yeah. And what ending did you get?
So
there's 3 endings.
I got the ending where Nanami's dead. Does the world, like, everyone's standing there, and Hog becomes, like, the whole area becomes like Hog Nation, the Hog country.
Yeah.
And they're all part of that.
You got Ted Nugent flying over in his helicopter shooting the hogs from with his AR-15. Hog Nation.
Because I called my castle Cunt Castle, and I called my army Hog Army.
Nice. Yeah, I named my castle Provo PDC, which is the name of my work. And then
in the story ending I got is it.
Did you
it
see?
Just stays as the country. We become a country.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I got to. And we don't see Joey in the end. Like, he just kind of like.
No, yeah, Joey's gone. And at the end when it says Finn, you kind of have like a picture of Joey. Like, I think Joey ran away. Is what he did. He ran away to join his wife.
So I know there's an ending where you kill Joey.
You have to
become
fight
the
Joey?
ruler. There's an ending where you do that. Yeah. There's an ending where you remember that one part where your sister's like, "Hey, we should just run away. This is crazy. We're children. We shouldn't be part of this thing." That's an ending too. And you run. and everyone dies basically. That's what Kent
I could
was
have
telling
ended
me.
the game so
Yeah.
much longer.
Yeah.
You're such a dick.
I wouldn't have done it because that's not a real ending. But
That's what Kent was telling me. He was like, do that one because it's the best one. And like you run away and then he says like no matter how horrible it gets, just keep running. So I was like, oh, does everyone just start dying or what? That's one. And then the one we got. So the one where you become the king after killing Joey. And then the one where you run away.
It just becomes a hog.
But for us, it's not that we're the king. We're not the king of Highland. We didn't kill Joey.
It's not Highland. It's just the city-state area.
Yeah, and you have to save. I think we have to save the Kobold guy to get the good ending, but we didn't get the good ending or the best.
But you need to have all your characters recruited because if you don't save him at that one point, then you don't have all the characters, which is why.
Yeah, so we didn't get the
I stopped
perfect.
recruiting after a second because I'm so done.
It's too much, yeah.
But then you're fighting through the castle. You fight a whole bunch of the other generals that you have been fighting up to this point, and then you fight Han in a duel. And then Han gives you a little more backstory because he was the dude who originally was supposed to duel your grandfather.
Yeah, and these duels they pop up throughout the game, and they're kind of like I was talking to Craig before we started recording, and they're kind of like the fights in Monkey Island, where it's like based off of text and comebacks.
It's
so
really
you have
just
to, like, respond with the right thing in order to win.
Those duel fights are just rock paper scissors at that point.
They're kind of cool though. I think there's like 5 different ways to fight in this game.
But there's 5 different ways to fight, but this was the one way to fight where it's the less to do. It's just really rock paper scissors.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate it. I mean, I don't hate it. I just feel like it doesn't add to the combat system. I mean, it gives you something different to do, but I think having a one-on-one fight duel could have been better than just he picks this attack, you pick that attack, and since you pick the right one, you win that bout. I don't feel like the rock paper scissors version of fighting was the right way to go.
Yeah.
But then you fight him. He gives you more backstory. He's like, because he actually respected your father, your adoptive father, a lot, and so he's like, "Oh yeah, you're his son." I did that in one go because it's rock paper scissors. Once you know what to do when he does what he does,
I lost a couple times, and it was painstaking because I was very far away when I died, and that was one of the times where it was like we were planning on recording the next morning, and I stayed up till like 6 a.m. and I
stayed up
died
super late that night too because I thought the game ended because the guide I was following just ended there.
Oh yeah, when you were saying like, oh, what's after? Is there anything?
I'm like, the game's still going. Like, why is it still going? I killed Necklord, and it's just like the guide I was following on IGN, I guess, just stopped. The person stopped writing it, and then they had their credits.
There's no credits. You didn't finish. Yeah, that's bullshit.
And then
you were like, how much is after Necklord? I was like, there's still a good chunk.
8 to 8 hours left after.
And you didn't believe me, and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I've hauled ass, and I'm not done.
And
I've
then
hauled ass.
Okay, so then you finally get to the throne room after fighting him and Seed and Kolaghan, which is another fight right before.
Seed.
And then you have to fight the Beast Rune itself. And so the Beast Rune gains power when you sacrifice to it and give it blood and stuff like that. But then you fight the Beast Rune, which is a 2-headed wolf.
Everything's a fucking wolf.
Yeah.
By the way.
So it's a 2-headed wolf. Each head has an attack. A floating rune between the 2 heads has an attack. I think the right arm has attack. The right arm has a heal. Left arm has an attack as well.
Yeah, you kill that fucking. You kill that healer.
This fight is very RNG based.
Oh yeah,
it's very very. So
there's a lot of status effects, and they don't always work.
The first time I played it, I beat him. I mean, it wasn't easy. I had to keep everyone up, but I didn't lose anyone in my party. And I just beat him my first go around. And I just was really lucky with my protection magic I threw out to block magic, and that procced quite often. I was really lucky with Shiro, my physical damage dude. He was able to knock down the heads a few times, and made it to where I only had to receive half attacks, and so I was able to just dump damage onto him my first playthrough and get it through. But then my playthrough just now, because I was showing Schweiss my party, I was getting dunked on pretty hard.
Yeah, I died like 4 or 5 times.
And to the point where he had confused my characters, which means they can't do anything. They can't even defend. And then knock down another character means they could defend, which means I couldn't heal, which means I would have died the next attack.
Yeah.
So I would have lost my second playthrough. So I feel like the final fight's a lot more RNG based.
Yeah, it is. So you get the guy.
So basically, you have to kill the rune and the 2 heads in order for the beast rune fight to be done.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. You don't have to kill the arms. It's just the heads and the rune.
Oh, I killed the arms first.
So you want to prioritize one of the arms because one of the arms can heal the rune.
Yeah,
back
that's
into place.
the first one I
It's
killed.
like the left one or something, right?
But you don't have to kill
Right.
the other. You don't have to kill the other arm.
Right leg.
You don't have to kill left leg. You just have to kill right leg, just so it doesn't bring the rune back.
God damn it! I could have killed it way faster. I got it down to where one of the heads was left, and he did 5 attacks, and I died.
Yeah, and see, that's again, he has all these different orifices where he shoots magic out of, but he doesn't need all of them because he can just say "fuck you" and do all of his attacks anyway.
Yeah, well, it's not all of the attacks, but he can attack you as many times as he would have if all of the parts would have been alive.
Yeah.
So it's still like, this guy does this part of my body does this, so he'll just do it, but he'll do it over and over and over again, and you'll fucking die. Because it's like, oh, the physical guy's left? He's like, wow, game over for you, fuckface, and he just fucking hit, and I'm like,
And he'll
fuck!
he'll fucking just hit one dude over and over and over again
Yeah,
too.
he'll wreck him.
Fucking, and so at this point, it's really important to have more than just one character healing. And so I had 3 characters who have healing abilities on them.
What was your final party?
So final party was Flick for his physical damage and unite attack he can do with Victor.
Yeah.
But Flick is also one of the best lightning mages in the game,
Yeah.
and so he has really good lightning damage. Then I had Shiro, who's only physical, but I had double beat on him, but he has a really good chance to do knockdown, and he has a really good chance to crit. And when he does that, he has a really good chance to... So double beat makes it so he automatically attacks twice. But when he crits, he can attack up to 6 times.
Okay.
And that really helped me the first time I was fighting the Rune Beast. And then I had Victor, of course. Victor, I had Killer and this other thing on him that made it so he did 1.5 times more damage, but he also took 1.5 times more damage. But so that means when Victor critted, he did a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then I had Luke, who I gave him the Blue Gate rune, which is honestly like one of my favorite runes, just because how ridiculous the magic attacks are.
It's good.
You have like either this fucking galley ship with cannons just fly out of space and shoot its cannons at your enemies.
It's awesome
Or if you
looking,
have
yeah.
fucking World Eater Enderbug come out of nowhere, fucking destroy everything on the map. Then I gave him... let him keep his wind rune because it has a really good AoE attack in it, but he also has some...
The shredding?
Yeah, the shredding.
That sounds like a Pantera song to me.
Yeah.
The art of shredding.
Then I gave him that one because it also has a healing item in it too.
Yeah.
So in case you need to use him as a backup healer, I would do that. And then I also gave him the darkness rune because darkness does a decent amount of damage. But I liked it for Luke because he could also just heal himself with darkness damage. It'll do kind of like a health steal.
Yeah.
But it also has a chance to do insta death on certain characters.
Yeah, that's true. So
And then I had Rena, the performer girl, because she has a good water affinity, and water is the healing room. So she was my main backup healer, but she also does really good fire damage.
nice. Yeah,
And so-
I used her for a while.
And so I used her to do AoE fire damage attacks, and used her to be the backup healer and backup stat buff person.
Nice. Okay, so I had my guy, Flick Victor, a guy named Humphrey that I found. He had a pretty good solo attack, and his sword was awesome. It was like Excalibur, basically. It's crazy. This guy named Gijimu is this chop master guy with the beast chops.
I seen him, yeah.
And then I had Luke, and then Victor and Flick, yeah.
So you had mostly physical taggers?
Mostly. I would use them for the Unite, though.
Oh.
And then Humphrey was like a...
So Unite's good when you need to focus certain things down, but it's terrible for doing AoE stuff.
See, I didn't use I only used AoE from Luke. I would always focus on one part of the beast and just take it out as fast as I could.
That makes a lot of sense for the final boss, but other bosses, not as much.
That's why I did it for the final, yeah. And then the Go Jimu guy or whatever, he has double beat. And so
Yeah.
I would use him.
So I guess for Victor, to really pump him up, is you need to give him double beat, and then there's that other rune I can't remember the name of, which does double damage, but he takes double damage, and they need to put the killer rune on him to increase his crit chance and crit damage, and then do things for Victor to increase the amount of times he gets. I think it's his tech skill you need to level up to where he just becomes a crit god at that point, where he just keeps attacking, and critting, and he just lays waste. So if I were to play through again, I would do that. Really focus on Victor to be my physical attacker.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Flick I just had because I think he's fun.
No, Flick is
and the
great.
Combo.
He has the combo with Victor. He's decent, but really just for his lightning damage, which is great. Just one target damage.
Yeah.
That Thor shot.
Yeah, that's a good move. So I just whittled it down piece by piece until I killed it all.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't know I had to kill all, or I didn't have to kill all of it, but
it's really just the heads you need to kill, but the one arm needs to go, or else it's impossible.
Yeah, and it'll keep healing.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I fought him. I did that, and he healed, and I was like, oh, well, that one's going to die next time, because I'm going to die. Yeah, that's pretty much the story, though, and there's multiple endings, like I explained. We got the same ending where we basically...
Sounds like it. I mean, it sounds like the one ending you have to, use the joke ending in order to get, and the other ending is only if you recruit everyone. So that's really the only ending you would get, unless...
The only dissatisfying part of our ending is that Joey just kind of disappears.
Yeah, they see again this whole time. Okay,
you fight the rune beast.
Is they build Luca Blight up to be the main enemy. You kill the main enemy, the story's still going on. Okay, well, I guess now there needs to be a confrontation between you and your friend. And that never happens. The game ends without happening. So why fucking extend the story to make it to where, hey, Luca's really not the main thing. You're really going to have to just, come to Jesus party with Joey at the end, but that never happens because he runs away. And it takes it from you.
Yeah.
But is the true ending, do you actually fight Joey? Is that actually a thing?
I don't know which one the true ending is. There is an ending where you fight and you kill him, and you become the king.
That feels like a better ending as far as what it alludes to.
There's another ending where you guys all leave as pals, and that sounds like the bullshit one.
There's an ending where you all just get together.
That's what I was reading. Yeah, you're all of you are still alive. Nanami lives.
I need to watch a video of all the different endings.
I was going to before I did a. There's 4. Yeah, you're right. Ingress Black Dude said there's one where you save Nanami, and you all kind of leave. And then there's the one where you flee, and then everybody dies, and it gets destroyed. And that's the one he was talking about. He said that ending's hilarious, and Splinter dies for no reason. Yeah, they just kill everybody.
Hey, so Angry Ass Black Dude, does I'm asking the Twitch chat, Angry Ass Black Dude, does fucking the Kobold dude, does he look like Splinter? He looks like Splinter to me. Like that. Every time I saw him, that's what I thought of. I was like, where is his fucking turtle village?
Yeah.
So what would you guys give the story then?
7.
This game?
I'm giving it a 7.
The greatest RPG on PS1 is getting a 7.
Okay, guys, I want you to know. Okay, we'll talk about it later. Well, I won't say it now. Okay.
What do you want us to know?
I'll let you know later. Don't worry.
What do you mean later? We're talking about story right now.
No, it's not about the story. It's about the game overall.
Oh.
So I'm giving the story a 7 because there's a whole bunch of stuff that you had to do and invest time in that really didn't matter in the long run.
He says he definitely looks like Splinter. Fuck the dog. That was his dirty little secret. And he left the dog, and that's why the dog's so bitter and shitty in this game.
Son.
Yeah, and he felt so bad because he couldn't find him after he abandoned him that he went and he took care of the turtles. Yeah. After he left his kobold son.
And then Luke becomes Shredder because of his attack, the shredding.
The shredding. Yeah, I loved that attack. I was just like,
it was a great...
and it just fucking rips him to pieces.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like a brown Splinter.
Oh yeah.
Like his ears are not doggies like at all.
His fur is brown. What are you talking about?
He looks like a rat. I'm just saying.
He kind of does.
I didn't know I was surrounded by all these people.
It's his ears, his snout's all, and head is all elongated. He looks like Splinter.
Is there more dog army?
With a powerful jaw. Huh?
No, like, go down. So that was like more dog. There's more dog army.
That was not. But that's Gengen. He's one of your recruitables. The fucking Boy Scout kobold.
Yeah. He's the first kobold you find.
Are they as cool? Like, all the stupid characters. And then I
needed to do more of the Mikus, like the flying squirrel things.
Yeah,
that would bounce off of enemies.
Cameron found one. I didn't find it.
I found one. I wanted. If you can find more of them,
Oh man,
You can have a whole team of them,
that'd be fun.
and they do like this Superman flying attack together.
Are the dogs, the kobolds, are they as cool as the dogs in Undertale?
Are the dogs
It
in Undertale
depends
shitty?
because the
No,
dogs
they're
in
cool.
Undertale they're more built up to be puns instead of like
The kobolds are a joke, but they're not meant to be funny.
no, but
they're just
Gengen-
sad.
So okay, actually, so there's a unite attack that Gengen can do with Shiro that is really funny. So Gengen is one of the kobolds. Like, yeah, he's a decent physical attacker, but then Shiro is the big old wolf you could take with you.
Yeah.
And he's a great physical attacker. But they have a unite attack where Gengen will jump on top of Shiro and then hold out a bone on a fucking on a fucking stick, and then Shiro will fucking just charge right into enemies, doing a whole bunch of damage.
Oh wow, that's funny. I
So
like
they had
the
a really good unite attack.
I like the unite with your sister, where like you guys would start attacking, and then she would sit down and like have tea.
Is
not
this
related. She's-
really Game of Thrones? You
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
with your sister?
guys,
The unite.
you're not blood related.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyways, you have a
bone
unite
related?
attack with your sister where it goes on way too long, and if you have epilepsy, good fucking luck with that unite attack with your sister.
But there's a funny part, right? I don't
But
know if
then
you.
every now and then, if you do it, she won't participate. She'll sit there, eat, and read a book and stuff while you're
And like
sitting there
drink
attacking.
tea, and it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's like a zoom in on the enemy, and the enemy's like recoiling from the attack. And it's like, and she's just like down there reading and like not taking part, and you're just like beating this guy's ass.
Yeah, but every time you attack, the screen flashes white, and it's just flash.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
a
if you
lot.
have fucking epilepsy, good fucking luck playing this game.
Yeah, don't ever unite.
Start foaming at the mouth watching this unite attack every time.
Put a wallet in your
So what are you going to give it, Schweiss?
I'm giving story a 9. I think the story was awesome.
Story to me is the weak point of the game.
I think
It would have been much better if they trimmed it.
I think there's a lot of great shit when it comes to the.
Well, it sounds like they alluded to like the orb thing that you fight at the end, like halfway through the game, from what you guys said.
Yeah, the rune.
Yeah, I mean,
But it
there
seems
was
like there's
some
too
allusion
much
to the beast
from
rune.
between like that Luca fight to. That,
I would have given
that
this
point.
game a point more if we just cut out the whole Necklord section.
So the reason why I'm giving it so good, such a good score, is because there's some great little mini plots in there, like subplots. So like one of the best ones I found was the very beginning of the game with this character named Hilda, and I thought this was kind of a beautiful little part of the game. So
See, that's an
There's-
example of a great side quest to do.
Yeah.
That wasn't done with the Necklord.
one of the parts that you recruit this girl, and you kind of find this little village next to a main town, and it's this guy and his wife, and they run an inn. And this guy Alex, he's like, I want to search. There's supposed to be this buried treasure in this thing behind my house, and you're interested in that. And you're like, okay, yeah, let's go find and see if we can find this treasure. And he said you're like, well, what is this treasure? And the guy's like, it's the thing that I treasure the most in this world, is kind of what it's supposed to be. And then like you go in there and you fight through this big area, and it's this long ass dungeon. And then you get to the end, and the guy Alex finds is this like pile of herbs, and it's just herbs. And he's like, really, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was supposed to be the thing that I cherished the most, like the thing that I wanted the most in this world. And he's like super pissed. And then you guys like leave, and then he like tosses the herbs off to the side, and he's like, this is bullshit. And then you kind of go in, and then you find that your wife had like fallen ill, and she's like dying from something, and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. And he's like, I don't know what to do, like I don't know how to help my wife. And then you go back and you fucking find, you go pick the herbs up and you bring it back to him, and you mix the herbs, and then they're what cure the wife from her like illness that she got. And I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was
the thing
beautiful.
that he wanted the most in the
good.
world was his wife.
All right, I'll
He had
give the
it whole
story
time.
an 8. The story gets an 8. Story. There's some stuff like that, character building and background stuff that is great, but I just feel like this game could have been a great 35-hour game instead of a.
So you just don't like all the fluff afterwards.
I don't like
that's your
all the
biggest
fluff. I don't
complaint.
like the fluff that it forces you
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
There's some pacing
That
problems. I
don't
would
make
say.
sense. Pacing problems and doing a whole side section that doesn't make sense to the rest of the story. That could have been.
But you still
better.
think the greatest RPG of all time on the PlayStation deserves an 8.
Wait, just wait. It's an 8.
I think, and
I
it's
thought you were flipping me off for a
No.
second.
and it's crazy because I feel like all of the side characters, they have pretty good little plot lines. Like, so there's like interesting
There's
stuff
too
that
many
happens.
of them to get invested
See,
in.
and
Jesus.
that's what.
I agree, but it doesn't suffer from Final Fantasy Tactics in that same way. The
I mean,
reason
you could definitely invest all your time.
12
like, you
separate
can,
from that a lot.
It gives you a chance
Or not
before
12, 6.
after you've recruited
6,
everyone. It gives you a chance after you've recruited everyone to then
It's
just
a
go
Yeti character,
into the
Schweiss,
world
that has an entire little story
and do whatever you want. And so you can totally at the end go with each character and do their own little stuff and get them powered up and everything like that. At the
Yeah.
end. So you can do that.
that was.
But there's
one
no
of-
reason to, because there's no reason they don't actually have side quests that you can do per character.
Okay, see, well, that's still like that story building is rad, and that's one of the things I really liked about Fire Emblem Three Houses was like they built the characters up, and there was mini missions to do to like explore that character more.
Yeah, they don't have
and
missions
that's
to explore
awesome.
characters.
Yeah, they
Oh, that
not only
sucks.
mini missions, but like the more you talk to him, like you get
Yeah.
more story and
And so,
background
like that-
of that
I
character.
mean,
But
like, if they're doing
actually,
this,
one of
it
the
makes me wanna play
characters,
it.
one of the characters you can recruit is this private eye investigator dude, and you can have him investigate. Everyone in your party. You can have him find out tidbits for you. I don't know what the mechanical use of that is, just outside of lore knowledge.
the one thing I did is I would have like recruitment info. I had him go on.
Okay,
missions
so yeah,
to-
if you were playing the game without using a guide, you would definitely use him to figure out how to recruit people.
yeah,
That
And
would make
it's-
sense.
And I felt like all those little characters, they had the one Freed Yi guy. It's fucking ridiculous.
Freed, I hated. I mean,
Freed
Freed was
Y.
okay. He was just mediocre.
And you go to this village, and then he meets this girl that he used to know, and they like had a relationship.
No,
before.
I think he knew her. He just left and didn't tell her.
Yeah, and she was like heartbroken, and she ends up joining your party because they're like reunited. There's like
Yeah.
a lot of cool little things like that where it's not
So,
it's not
it's
super
just
in
like,
depth
yeah.
story development, but it like gives you just enough, and that's why I think it's
And
stronger.
you have to have certain characters in your party in order to recruit other characters. But
Yeah,
you won't
yeah.
know that unless you investigate.
Right. And that's why I think it doesn't suffer from Final Fantasy Tactics' main flaw with story. The only problem I have with Tactics is that there is a lot of people and there's a lot of betrayal.
There's not that many people. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think there's too many people that you don't get any time with. And in this, it's not like you
It's
get a ton
not
of
just
time.
that. It's just that certain characters really aren't as good as others. I mean, again, every character is viable. You just have to spend more time with them.
Yeah, in this game, I feel like they gave us just enough. And now when I go into my inn, and I see Hilda, I remember the little Hilda quest line with her husband. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a ton of info, and I think that might be why it's maybe a little more because it's not as much to digest. And there's so many characters, so you can't do a ton. But like the chef guy, he had like a little.
He has his own
duel.
little fucking sideshow, like Iron Chef. Thing
Yeah, it's
that goes
crazy.
on.
Yeah, and you fucking compete against other chefs that come in, and like one of them poisons one of your chef helpers, the fat chick, and she died. She fucking.
She's a recruitable character.
I know.
If you lose her, you don't have all of them.
I had to restart. That's why I told you I restarted one of them because they fucking poisoned her ass, and then they're like, "Oh, if you win, I'll give you the cure," and I lost. So I reset my game. I'm like, "Fuck that! I'm not going to let
This is
that."
maniacal.
Yeah, he's
Hang
evil.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he has his own little like dueling chef like for Master Chef in the whole world and other chefs come to like challenge him, and if you beat him you get recipes. Like it's super cool. It's
What
like,
did you think with the first time when they moved your room up a floor? Like, you're like, where the fuck am I supposed to
Yeah,
go?
I was like, where am I supposed to fucking sleep?
So every time you increase the number of people in your castle upgrades, and there's more features and stuff to your castle, but you keep going up a floor to be at the top floor.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, I guess I have a new room now.
Yeah, did you get the elevator guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him too.
Yeah, it's necessary. Or else I don't want to spend like 30 seconds climbing stairs.
There's
It's just a load screen every
yeah,
stair.
There's so
You
many
had to
guys.
recruit a guy to like fast travel in the castle.
Yeah, okay, so you have to recruit a guy
Yeah,
to fast
you do.
travel the castle. You have to recruit a girl to
Fast travel the
around
world.
map.
Yeah.
And you have to, and so once you find her, though, she gives you this thing where you can fast travel back to the HQ and then talk to her to fast travel elsewhere.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that really helps a lot.
And then you have
It'd help a lot, too, because every 2 steps you take, you have a fucking random encounter anywhere you go.
yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot of little mini stories in there that I really did enjoy. I liked it. And I thought the stuff between Victor and the sword was funny and great.
That was funny. Yes, that
And
was good.
Shit talking the sword, and then the sword like flying up in the air and like saying it's going to cut him down.
The boss
You have to talk
fight
the
with the sword
down.
was great.
Yeah.
And then recruiting the the smith for your HQ that he had to talk the sword down that one time.
Yeah, the sword was going to kill Victor again, and then the guy's like, "Oh my God, you're the legendary sword." He's like, "I would love to join you and like work on you." He's like, "I want to make you perfect." And like,
except when you first hire him, he's fucking worse than the blacksmith right next to him.
Yeah, but in the final dungeon, you'll find like little
You have
items.
to find the silver hammer, then you have to find the gold hammer. Silver hammer lets him level your weapons up to level 15, and then if you find the gold hammer, then you can get it up to level 16.
Yeah, so I only got the gold hammer.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Yeah,
I left. You were at the ending right then, and I just wanted to fucking beat.
I left because I couldn't beat it, so I left and upgraded all the way. But that's when I recruited him, because that's what I told you. I was like, make sure you recruit this guy to up your weapons.
I think the biggest difference why the final fight was easier for me is I had more backup healers.
Yeah, that's a big part.
I think that's the only reason, because certain healing attacks would get rid of status debuffs on your characters.
Yeah.
And so I always had a healing option, which is probably why...
Did you have a resurrection?
Yeah.
I didn't have a single resurrection spell. For me, it was I win or I lose. It's like, that's why I lost.
You have to, but see, my first playthrough, I didn't have to use it. But you have to find. Okay, I spent hours and hours trying to get, because the flowing rune is the one you need for the best healing rune, and it's a rare find only in that one Emerald City that takes an age to get to, because there's no way to fast travel to it for some fucking reason. You have to go through this whole fucking wooded area and up these fucking slow-ass ladders to get to it. And then when you get to the city, and you have to go to the rune shop, and it's just a fucking chance whether or not they have anything in their rare finds.
Yeah.
And then it's just a fucking chance if the rare finds the fucking rune that you wanted in the first place. And that's the only place to get the highest order of water rune, which is the flowing rune, which has the resurrection spell, and then all the other good spells that help debuff or get rid of debuffs.
Yeah.
And so I had two characters. My character had the flowing rune, and I had my other character, healer character. She had the flowing rune as well. So I always had, and then Luke, of course, had his healing thing in his wind rune. So I always had someone. At least one of my mages had something they can heal.
So what are you guys going to give the gameplay?
Gameplay, I feel, is great, actually. I had a lot of fun getting to play the game when I could instead of watching the game. There's certain things, like random encounters, I feel is like a bit much.
Yeah, I'll just go auto.
Bad.
There's an auto battler. They just do basic attacks. The bad part about that is a lot of times the combos are better, but...
No, so if you know you're going to beat them easy, you don't need to waste any time on them. Yeah, just do the auto battler. But it's still just like, there's no reason for me to auto battle because don't need any levels. I'm already maxed out the amount of money I can carry, which is a stupid low amount compared to how much you can actually blow.
Yeah.
Because you have 108 recruitable characters and it takes a ton of gold to upgrade the weapons all the way. Why are you going to make it to where I can't just grind all that out in one go and then go do... Okay, it's stupid. Anyways, the random battle encounters too frequent, but I really enjoyed battles themselves with all the different cool unite attacks you can do. There's so many different characters and so many different unite attacks that you could just... It's so cool just to go through that. Then you have to know each character's strength to know what runes to give them, what their affinities are, and level up their certain abilities. And then throughout the game, you could find stones that will permanently upgrade certain stats for characters you want to use them on.
Yeah.
So you can make certain characters even better. And then you have the overhead battle thing. I think they could have fleshed that out a little bit more, but I still enjoyed that.
Yeah,
it was a nice break and pace of just constant,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they could have done a little bit more with them, but I thought they were really fun even then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not minusing a point. I enjoyed it, but
yeah.
I think they could have taken the idea a little bit further.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the...
I really hated it, though, when you started one of those fights... ages away from the fucking castle
and
you had to waste turns to get there.
Turn after turn, yeah.
And it's like, yep, just moving. Still fucking moving.
Yeah.
Still fucking moving.
Yeah.
And then your fucking horses can go faster than your ranged characters, and it's just like...
So they just go, and sometimes they get dunked on?
No, I would never... Because I didn't want units to die, I would usually wait until I had a ranged character to help them.
Yeah. I agree. Those were really fun, and I thought they were a fun change of pace. There's like 20 of them throughout the game, and I think they're pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed them for the most part.
You can cast spells, like use your runes for distance attacks. stuff like that.
Certain
You can heal
characters
each
have
other.
cooler runes, and this is actually so. These major battles are actually really affected by the characters you recruit.
Yeah.
The more characters you recruit, the more units you have, and the better units you have.
Yes.
And so recruiting actually makes a huge difference here. So that's why if you had more time, I would have focused more time on recruiting characters, especially ones that would help these type of battles.
Yeah.
Because you can get more magic wielders and stuff like that.
Once I told what's her face to just automatically
Apple?
Yeah, once I told Apple.
I'd never done it. I was interested in doing that.
I told
Leave it
Apple
to
just
Apple?
not to leave it to Apple, but like there's one before where I was like, just do the best units. And I told her to do that before the fight, and it was a lot better. Like it was like I was like, oh, I actually wasn't doing it right.
Oh, maybe I wasn't doing it right. Because
But-
I would just, I'm ready to go, and then it'll just appear in the battle.
Yeah, it made it a little easier. The problem
you could
was
change
that we still had Hauser and fucking the kobolds just getting blasted. But
I would use them to like be fodder to where if I was fighting a boss character where the main unit who I wanted to get in place, I would have him attack, and if he got 1 level of damage done, I would use those other 2 units to like give
Finish it,
him choices
yeah.
to attack them instead
Yeah.
of my main guy. But other than that, they weren't as good. But I'm wondering if I leveled them up as individual characters, if they would be better.
I think they would.
If they are, then that's I should have done that because I would have made that a little bit easier.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to, and they're not super hard. I think I failed
It just
to save.
makes it long because it just leaves it up to a fucking coin toss.
Yeah, I think I saved. I died, or I let Ridley die once in that one fight where he dies if you don't save him, and I was like, I think I could save him, and I went back and I just defended with him, and I was able to hold him off and then come and help him. So for the most part, they're pretty easy, but. Which, it would be fun if you had to do more like planning and more like, okay, we got to do this right. So like, I think you're right. They could have expanded on it a little more, but it was still a lot of fun. Just jumping in there and being like, oh, this is a change of pace.
Yeah.
You'd have like your ranged attacks and you can do like a bunch of damage from a range. You can do like fire spears and hammer
And then
with
to tell you
those.
how much of a coin toss this is, there was one of those one of those battle scenes where you're supposed to hold out against Luca up until a point to when your reinforcements arrive and Luca retreats.
Yeah.
But you get it to where because there's this whole scene where you're fighting Luca Blight, you're defending and trying to attack against him, and then his reinforcements come, and there's that other dude with the wind rune. I think he's from the previous game, and then when that happens and he brings his reinforcements in, then Luke on your team comes in and does his true rune of the wind or whatever and damages a whole bunch of units, right?
Yeah.
There's that whole scene that happens with him and whatnot, and then if you damage Luca Blight just once, he then retreats.
Yep.
And just to tell you how of a random coin toss this was, as we were doing this fight, I just ran up, fire speared him and lightninged him right away before his reinforcements arrived and gave him the 1 damage bar, and he just left without the whole cutscene happening.
Nice.
And so I don't know if that affected the game in any way, because you have a conversation that happens afterwards. They ask Luke, "Oh, how'd you do that? Can you do it again?" type of thing. So I don't know if that actually changed anything, but that's
No,
how random
I
the
don't
coin
think so.
toss is, I feel. So
Because I didn't get him out that fast. The reinforcements came.
I did it like a few times, and it was just that one time I finally beat him really fast. It was just I used a whole bunch of magic on him right at the beginning, and for some reason it worked that time,
Yeah.
like really quick. But yeah,
I think the main battles are kind of standard mostly.
Yeah.
I like the combos. I like the fact that you can really pick and choose what you want to use. So like in your item selection, like for your character, you've got their armor and stuff like that, and you can give them additional armor pieces.
but that takes away from them carrying stuff like medicine and other stuff.
Yeah. So like there were times where I would optimize and it would give me like multiple armor and damage things, and I would just keep it, and then I'd have certain characters that had like food items for healing and stuff.
And see, I would just prioritize having some of my magic users all have a healing option, and just armoring up my frontline people, just making sure they were completely armored.
So there's a bunch of different ways to equip your characters.
But see, if he kept food on him, they didn't have as much armor as they could have. But then when something like an anti-magic field happened, he would have an option to heal, whereas I wouldn't, because I just made sure everyone was armored.
Yeah. There's a lot of different spells. There's a ton of customization for the characters.
Tons of different spells.
Tons of different runes you can equip into your dudes to give you certain abilities, unlock certain magics. Combo, you can play the game with any character. That's the cool part about the game. Like you can fight with anybody.
There's characters who are better, obviously.
Do you have to have your main character in the party?
Yeah, you have to have your main character. He's the only one you get.
That's the only requirement.
and other storyline requirements of having your sister with you when you don't want her to be. And it would have saved her life if she didn't come along.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, no, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go. And then later I'm like, oh, damn, she died.
I fucking
See,
told
she
you.
listened to me. You should have fucking listened to me. I didn't want you in my party.
Dude, I told you. Yeah.
You just don't fit with the meta right now.
There's
You fit with the meta.
Did you play the fishing game?
No.
There's a fishing game on the
Of course
docks.
there is.
And
No, I didn't. I didn't investigate that. for
Oh,
some
he
reason.
didn't play it, yeah. But you can catch fish and you can use those to cook in your
That makes sense.
in your chef
See,
thing.
with the chef thing, you had to spend time finding ingredients and stuff like that. Did you ever do the trading thing in game?
The trading posts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it like once.
Apparently, there's no real reason to do it because you can just make money in the game. Like, you make more money than you have need for later in the game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the only
late
reason
game,
you would use the trading post thing is because you could, if you make a certain amount of money, you can recruit a trading post guy from that banner village area
shit.
and put him in your town.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to recruit people. Like, there's one guy that you have to run away. He's like the dude with the massive nose, the elf guy.
Yeah, I
He's like
recruited him.
sprinting. I never did because you have to run. You have to flee from a certain amount of battles.
Well, it's
to
not just
recruit him.
flee, it's let go as well. So when you get to a certain level and you're going through a lower level area, that gives you an option to let go, which is you're basically letting them flee, and it's 100% you let them flee. And since they wouldn't give me a lot of money, and there was no reason to fight them because they don't give enough to level up.
Yeah, it's not worth your
and it
time.
was just in the random encounter frequency is insane in this game. I would just, and this is before you get the blinking ability to teleport. I just random counter, let go, random counter, let go. It's seriously like 2 steps later you get into another fucking counter. I was so frustrated at that, and that's probably a huge reason why the gameplay time is what it is. I feel like they should
a
have
lot of
like, hey,
fights.
if you're certain level, let's really dial back on the random encounter
and
frequency.
the sewer area, dude, those fights are they get hard. Some of those random
Yeah.
encounters, they start fucking you up, man.
It's just like, you know, there's no benefit for you to fighting in this area, so let's fucking dial back on that random counter frequency just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like fucking just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But no, so by the time I found the elf dude, I had let go enough people that I could recruit him.
Oh, nice. I didn't get him.
Yeah.
But there's so many different ways to recruit people. Like, it's based on certain things that you do in the game, certain other characters you bring in.
Why it's really important to have that private eye investigator to really know all the different ways you can recruit people. Otherwise,
Yeah.
without a guide, you're just fucked.
Yeah. There's that. The fishing minigame was fun. It was basically just like a little, like, there'd be a moving bar and you have to press X to like keep it within the bar
Did you
or let go.
recruit the bathhouse dude?
No.
So there's a dude in the one village that you have to get to by boat. Can't remember. This is before you have the blinking ability, and this is the village where it takes you to like Green Hill and the Kobold village and stuff like that. There's that one village where you dock the boat at.
Yeah.
One of the huts, there's this dude. You have to be toasty and before you talk to him. So you have to go to the Kobold village, eat a whole bunch of fried tacos to get the toasty effect. He's like, I only talk to people who look like they've taken a fresh bath.
Yeah, I had the item is to take a bath.
I'll only talk to you if you have like, if you look toasty, like you're clean. And so you eat a whole bunch of fucking spicy food, and now you're toasty and clean for whatever reason. And so he'll go to your castle and build you your bathhouse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things in this game, dude. And the farming, like, I didn't even explore that. But I had seeds.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had seeds too.
I found seeds, and I found the farm area.
Didn't even connect that. You could go plant it. I thought they could have been like using food or something.
I'm positive that's what it is. And you can
Probably.
use those ingredients, and your castle becomes like the self-sustaining.
I mean, that's what
town.
it's supposed
That's
to be.
the idea,
It's
yeah.
supposed to become a capital. It's
not
the new capital of your nation.
Yeah, right.
So.
And it's really cool, and like the amount of time you put into it is really the reward you get out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the gameplay, while the actual RPG part is pretty standard fare to me, the combat, there's enough in there that I think it's actually a great time.
So what are you going to give it then?
I think I'm going to give the gameplay. I think I'm going to give it a 9 as well. So that's 2 9s for me. What about you, Cameron?
To me, like, the gameplay was the best part about the game, obviously. Is it perfect? I think a 9's appropriate. I'll give it a 9 too.
Nice.
Yeah,
Because I had a lot of fun actually fighting. Like when you're doing bosses and stuff, and you're going through new dungeon area and stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun to recruit
especially
people.
when you're like you finally got a cool rune for a dude you're trying out, and you're like, when I finally found a blue gate rune, I'm like, oh, dude, it's fucking sick. Can't wait to take Luke out and fucking use this rune.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to be had, and it's so fun to recruit and see your town like start to thrive and like buildings open up. And
that was cool too, and
your
having your
town
shops
getting built.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like once you have your shops open inside your town, do they sell better items or just the average items?
They're not always much better. The big one was the blacksmith for me, and then the person that attaches runes. But there's other areas where you could find better stuff in the rare finds.
I mean, you have to go to certain areas to find certain runes, and that's stupid. I feel like once you level up your rune, like there should be a way to invest into your rune shop, and then have the chance of the rare runes that show up other places have a smaller chance for them to show up at your place, just so you could save spam it.
Yeah, it felt like the base wasn't as powerful as it could have been.
Yeah, that would have made the fucking that whole journey getting that town was too much. They should have at least added a way to teleport there.
Yeah.
All right, what about sound and music?
Got that stanky flute.
Yeah.
I feel like the music was a little repetitive.
Yeah.
It's just a loop, especially if you spend a lot of time in one area like your HQ doing stuff. It's just the same track over and over and over again. Each area had its own unique music, which is fine. I just feel like the music was a little overpowering. I had to turn it down a little bit. I mean, it's okay. The sound of the actual fighting is great. The sound of the runes make it cool, especially when it fucking slows down the PS Vita so much you're seeing a frame at a second and just hear the sound going chok, 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 chok.
Yeah,
and then it slowly speed back up to speed.
That's why
like
I
a
wanted to
record
play
player.
the physical real version.
Yeah.
Because I heard
Still
about
had
the
same
slowdown.
problem?
No, I didn't. The problem I had was
Doing
the sound
certain
would
spells
glitch.
and sounds would glitch when certain spells go out, just because it really slows down the frame rate.
And mine, it wasn't. The frame rate was fine, and it would still make the sound glitch.
Oh, mine, the whole game would fucking slow down and make me think it's going to crash and freeze again, which is stupid when you're like an hour into a dungeon and you're like, there was no point to save it, to save your gameplay. Because the game did crash on me and I lost like 4 hours.
Yeah, that sucks.
But that's probably the PS Vita's fault, not the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's I think it's the port.
Yeah, the port's not good. That's what I read
Yeah.
online, and that's why I asked Kent to borrow his physical copy. Is because
So he
the
has a
port.
physical copy?
Yeah, it's sitting up there on that shelf.
Why did he let you borrow it?
Because he's a crazy person. I don't
Does he
know.
not
Does he know how much it's worth?
He knows how much it's worth, and
He's not selfish like
Very-
Craig is with his
very
Valkyrie
interesting.
profile.
I was thinking...
Yeah.
Fuck you.
he donated it
Ain't
to
nobody
me.
touching that thing. I'm not even touching
I was
it.
thinking, as an apology of being so late on this review, there was this
There was my
one
Persona
physical
2.
copy that's in a more doable price range that we could buy to give away, and that would be like an insane thing to give away, but still.
Yeah,
I would put money in the Patreon and get it and second resell it.
you bastard. You fucking
Schweiss
bitch.
would put money in the Patreon if we could get it for his collection.
Yeah, let's throw down $150. Like,
Here's what,
saving money.
I will.
That's insider trading, isn't
Hey,
it? Isn't
I'll
that
put
like
I'll put my name in so I win. I'll sell it
That's
to you for
embezzlement,
$140.
but
I guess it would be embezzlement.
It's perfect. I'll sell. Listen, I'll put my name in to win it. I'll sell it to you for $140. I'll shave $10 off because we're friends.
no, if we get it, it'd be a giveaway copy. If you want it for your own personal collection.
I would never do that. That's super douche.
Yeah,
I would sell it to you for $150 straight
I
up.
mean, it just...
I would buy it for $150.
They just didn't make enough copies of the game is all.
Yeah, it's just that's why it's rare.
It's not like that. I mean, it's okay. We'll finish reviewing.
Okay, Sound of Music. What are you going to give it, Cameron?
I like the sound of the runes and the magic attacks and stuff like that, and the actual battle sounds are great. The only complaint is how repetitive and how loud the fake horns are in this fucking game, and the fucking do 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 music.
There's some kazoo in there too.
Yeah, and
There's some hard-
it's the
automatically
stanky
it's a 10.
flute. Yeah, it's the stanky flute too that comes in.
If there's
Yeah.
a kazoo, that's a 10, regardless.
The thematic music of towns is overpowering and kind of stupid and repetitive. I think music gets an 8. Sound of music.
That's still not bad for,
I mean,
it's pretty good.
The rest of the, I mean, the magic and attacks sound
Yeah.
pretty
No,
cool.
it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to give it to. I do like the headquarters theme. There's a couple themes that I enjoy in the
You
game.
like it?
Yeah, man. It's like
Even so, I was playing it. So when Jake and I went down to went down to St. George to watch Joe's movie, and we were in the hotel room, and I was playing the game, and he's just listening to it. He's like, "Oh God, is that what the game sounds like?" Like even Jake, from listening to it for like maybe like an hour, was like disgusted by the sound of the music of the game.
Joe,
I'm not. Never mind.
what
Not
are we looking
150.
at?
I'm going to charge you $5.99.
No, that's the price of it. New and unopened.
I'll put a fucking piece of
The
plastic over it. I don't
cheapest
give a
price
shit.
on Amazon was like
I found a copy of the game.
$2,000 for an unopened new copy.
I found a copy of the game that wasn't that bad.
It's $289. It's the cheapest
Did
price
they give you
for
a,
this
did it
game.
give you a seizure?
that's the last one I'm going to buy.
Start foaming in the mouth.
See, I cringed at the $55 for Breath of Fire 3. I was like, ooh.
Oh, so did you
You
do
paid
the?
$55 for Breath of Fire 3?
Yeah, it was like 50.
Dude.
I guess
You got ripped.
the listeners won't know like what you're talking
It's only
about.
about 30.
Probably
And so if we get it away, we should do what you think. What you said: buy a used PlayStation
Unless
3,
it went up,
download the
'cause I
game on
paid
it, and
30
then give
for
away the
mine.
PlayStation 3.
Yeah, that has the download on
No,
it.
but there's a used copy for $210.
hey, there you go. Only $210.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
it's doable.
yeah,
as
I'll talk-
compared to the fucking $400 plus for used copies.
We'll talk about this at the end.
Just take it out of Nicholas's college fund.
yeah.
It'll just.
All right, so what about games?
It'll
then,
pay for
guys?
itself. I'm giving Sound of Music an 8. I think that it's good. I don't think it's anything spectacular.
The replacement case and manual itself is going for $50. Just the case and manual.
Well, that way you can buy a cheap ass used copy.
But there aren't any cheap ass used copies.
Okay,
That's true.
guys, we could buy a PS3 Slim 320 gigabyte for $130, and then buy the download for Suikoden 2 for
That's-
$10.
so that was
it would
my-
be $140
Yeah.
instead of like $289.
That was going to be
for the copy
that was
I
going to
found.
be my joke. And like I was going to say Suikoden 2's on the list.
buying an entire.
And we were going to send him a
system with the
PS3 with the
download
game
is
on it.
cheaper.
That would have been so funny.
You ruined the joke.
But now it's out. It's out.
No, we wouldn't have done it anyway.
I kind of wanted to.
100% of would have done it.
I kind of really want.
I mean,
It's
that's
ridiculous.
funny.
That's
That's
still,
hilarious.
It's still $200 investment.
Whatever it's going to be like, we're just going to get slammed like Bella
Plus
Thorne
the
did on
fucking shipment
OnlyFans.
fees
Yeah,
for
fuck.
that heavy ass PlayStation.
Yeah, well,
Shipping's like $50.
True. that's true because we'd have to bring it here and
Because we don't know if someone, if we don't know if it's going to be someone overseas who wins it too,
then- yeah, that's true.
and we wouldn't want to ship a fucking PlayStation 3 across the ocean.
It's actually not that bad.
I think the sound and music is pretty decent. It's not anything super spectacular. That's
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, that's a decent score, especially for a game that's like about 50 hours, and you're like just listening to the music.
yeah. I don't think it's anything spectacular, but I think it's good. So I gave it an 8 as well. The sounds of the battle are really good, like the little mini fights with your little like children running at each other and killing each other. Those were fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it sounded fine. It's not like there have been games that we played that are really good for sound and music, and this isn't one of those. This is just okay. What about graphics and design, Cameron? What do you think about the graphics and design?
So I read into it a little bit. So this is kind of the time around when 3D graphics started to becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And they were looking into it, and they made a decision to stay
2D?
in 2D and stay this way. It was like a decision that, hey, we're not going to do this new technology because we feel like it's not proven enough. We don't think we could take it as far. I think we can make a really decent game and keep it, in line with the first game if we just leave it this way. So that's the decision they made when, at that time there were 3D games coming out.
Yeah,
But
Final
I
Fantasy
feel
8
like-
and 9 look pretty good, too. So it's good looking.
Final
3D.
Fantasy 7 came out the next year.
This came out in like 2000. Final Fantasy 7 came out in 97.
Suikoden 2?
Yeah, it came out in 99.
Yeah, Suikoden came out in 99 in Japan, and they said North America was 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Final
was-
Fantasy
No,
7
I thought it was
was
1999 for us too.
7 was 97, yeah. So it would have been a year after.
Suikoden 2 came out
Oh,
in
98, 99.
Yeah.
Okay, so 98. So Final Fantasy
It was a year
8.
before.
FF8 was out. So they have pretty decent looking 3D games. Like
yeah,
the
so
8 looks
yeah, but then Final Fantasy 7 came out with several discs.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like that was a decent choice. I feel like this game would have been better as 3D. I mean, this game already chugs along in 2D at certain points, so.
Their sprite work is really advanced for this
And it's
game.
really good sprite work, too.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed it. I feel like the graphics and, and at least the design of the game, as far as that goes, is art. That gets a 10, for sure.
I
enjoyed it.
I couldn't agree more. I think it looks awesome. I think going with the sprites was the perfect decision. This is like the next level of FF6 on the Super Nintendo, where like that was the best sprites could look. The sprites in this game look amazing. I think it was the perfect decision. Because 3D games, 8 looks good, but this looks way better for what they chose.
Does 8 look good?
I mean, for a 3D PlayStation 1 game, yeah.
Does
but
7 look good to you?
No, it looks like shit.
Yeah, 7 looks horrible.
And that's why they
3D technology.
I think 7 looks better than 8.
No, dude, the Popeye. You
7
fucking kidding
looks
me?
like the fucking paper
It has-
dolls my brother would make with the fucking bubbly muscles and everything.
I don't care, man. Tifa's still hot.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's got like
It looks like a
the-
child
It's got like the
designed 3D
N64
graphics, but-
kind of feel with the little Popeye arms,
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah, but the
And
N64
it's got
sucks.
and
so
it's
why
got
would
its
you
own
want
little.
that?
It's got its
You
own
know
little
what'd be
charm, but
interesting
like the
if someone
fucking
redid all
whatever
of
Tron's
Final
bad.
Fantasy 7 as
they
2D
tried
instead.
too hard with 8, and it looks fucking weird.
I don't know. I think there's good-looking 3D games at this time, but I think they made the right choice, and I think this is the next level of those Super Nintendo 2D sprites that we had on this Super NES, and I think it looks
I don't know.
amazing.
There's a
for
lot
it.
of 3D games on the PlayStation that look like ass.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a good choice they didn't go 3D.
Yeah. 2D. I think they should have kept with until like the PS2.
It looks awesome, and like the sprites, they're they look good for what they are, and they have a lot of range of motion too. Like they move around a lot, and they have like the little animations, and it doesn't look too childish or anything because it's a pretty serious story, and sometimes that can take you out of it. But I don't think this game did at all. I like the way the areas look. I like the way your castle looks. It's super cool to see it like get better, bigger, and better over time. Characters have distinct looks. You'll find them, and you'll like, oh, I know who this guy is. I think the graphics and design are a high point for the game for sure, and I'm really glad they stuck with the 2D. And that's
No, it looks great.
I didn't know about that decision they made, like where they were kind of deciding
because it was that right around that time that people were making games in 3D, and they're like, "Hey, should we do that?" And they decided to invest elsewhere.
Yeah,
So Final Fantasy 9 was like a year after that, right?
9 was I think 99 and 2000. Yeah,
Is that around the same time?
it was like a year after,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty good. And Legend of Dragoon. Looks
Although
good,
they
but-
also like changed the way that their 3D was working, so they like didn't go with like the weird models of like 8. They had a different art style, which I think kind of countered that.
Yeah, it kind of masked it in some
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, so there's good-looking games that didn't do this, but I think they did the right thing by doing the 2D, and it looks great, and it doesn't. I don't know. There's something charming about the sprites. You know what I mean? Like there's just something there's a level of charm there that wouldn't have existed if this is a 3D.
Sprites, I feel like, are eternal because there's no. Because like with 3D graphics,
When you go sprites and make it colorful and just using sprites, you're saying we're not trying to be the most graphically competitive game out there. We're really focusing on other aspects of storytelling and gameplay.
plus sprites
And
can
it really
also
lets them
look
do
really
that.
cool, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the environments can look cool and stuff too. But like with 3D graphics, like there's a certain point where like you're like, oh, that looks really bad now. Like it like ages really poorly.
Yeah, and these
and
won't.
then but like the sprites like they're consistent. It's like it'll always be like really good.
It's
Even games now, I still dig it. There's like sprites in it.
Yeah.
Like indie ones, I'm like, that's cool.
or like Octopath looks amazing.
yeah, Octopath does look really
Final
good.
Fantasy IV Complete Edition looks amazing.
Yeah.
This game looks amazing, and it's old, and you can tell it's old. It's like watching Jurassic Park, the first one. You can tell it's old, but like they use all the animatronics. They didn't use a movie, or they didn't use
I couldn't tell
CGI.
that. Like,
really.
if you were to tell me that this was like a game developed just like a little bit ago, I wouldn't have known it was super old just by playing it.
Yeah, it could have just
I mean,
been like an indie RPG.
Yeah, it holds up well enough in my opinion.
And I think Craig's right.
I mean, I
think the
guess it's
sprites-
old and kind of like the style of gameplay. Like, it's definitely a slower, where it makes you just find shit out. It doesn't tell you what to do type of way of approaching it. But I feel like certain games nowadays are going back to more of that method too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, good. Stop hand holding people.
Yeah. So the final category, some would say the most important category, replayability. Cameron, how likely are you to replay this? Is there replay value in the game?
Do you have anything else you're doing with your life at the moment? Um,
Yeah.
again, we talked about it. There's so many different people you can recruit, different endings you can experience, different aspects of building your HQ that you can experience that we didn't and didn't even really know you could do because the game doesn't tell you, and it really doesn't matter to the game in the long run if you do it or not.
But it's still cool to do.
But it's still cool to do. I mean, there's stuff you can experiment with, like sound sets. I'm pretty sure you can change the music of your HQ or the area if you recruit the dude who can play sounds, and you can have him decode sound sets. I don't know if that's what he does, but that's the thing of the game. You find sound sets, you give it to a dude, and he does stuff with them. And I think it's to change the music.
Yeah, same thing with food recipes you'll find periodically, and then you'll find
see, the thing with
books.
food recipes, you can find the recipes, but if you don't have the ingredients, you can't make it.
That's true.
So that's twofold. You need to go there, and actually, messing with food would be cool. Growing stuff would be cool. Recruiting everyone would be cool, and
yeah.
I mean, if you really like it in the gameplay, I think if you had the time, it would definitely be worth it to do it.
Gameplay-wise, and if I didn't have a million other games I wanted / needed to play, I would probably give replayability on this an 8.
8?
What if you just put like an hour in every day? Like you just hang out for a little bit?
I
like
would
30 seconds
lose
in?
interest.
Yeah, it's not enough. There's some stuff that takes a little while. I'm giving it a 10, man. I think it's awesome.
This is a game that was hard to get into.
It
but
was.
Once you were playing it for an hour, then it was easier to keep at it.
Yeah, it was hard for me too because I was like, I don't know, it's fun, it's not bad. It was just kind of potboiler RPG in the beginning, and the combat was fun, but it wasn't super interesting. And then I got to the field battles, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool little thing. And then the one-on-one battles, where even though it's just rock paper scissors, it's like, oh, this is kind of an interesting approach. It's kind of different. And then I started to really love the game over time. But I'm giving it a 10 because I think there's so much to do in this game. You've got the fishing minigame to give you ingredients to cook. You've got the ability to farm, which is awesome. I think that's in there. I still don't even know. I just know there's like rows of, tilled land on your roof, and you find seeds. So I assume you can do that, which is fucking awesome. You can like plant shit and use it to make food to then use in battle to heal your characters. It's like, how fucking cool is that? There aren't very many games that do what this game does, and I think it's awesome for it.
Yeah. So it's definitely a game worth replaying if you want to and you have the time to.
Yeah.
Because there's worth to get out of replaying it for sure.
And I had a lot of fun, and I agree with Cameron though. It was something that I had to force myself to play, and then
I don't
by
know
the
if
end,
it's just because there's so much other stuff we want to do / have to do, or if we had all the leisure time we want, if we would enjoy just getting this game more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because of
but at the same
our
time,
situation versus
would you
the
have
game
played
itself.
this game anyway? Is the thing. Probably not, right?
Personally, probably not.
Yeah.
But again, I think that has a lot more to do with I didn't grow up with games like this. I didn't play games like Final Fantasy and Suikoden growing up because I wasn't allowed to play games when games like this were popular.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the weird situation we're in with the show, where sometimes we're playing games that we really like, and we would have played more if we didn't have the time
games
constraint.
I really started playing were first-person shooters, and I think that might be why I just like playing those. But then again, I feel like first-person shooters I play more just because I like playing team games.
Right. Well, those as well, like first-person shooters specifically, is we can all be on at the same time and
exactly
play
why.
together. And it's
games that you play with friends, I feel like you get more enjoyment out of than games you play on your own.
What I mean,
depending on the game.
You say play on your own though, but like on our chat that we get in with, like our group, some of us are still playing.
You
games
say that, but
we're playing by ourselves.
When I'm playing a game that. Like a game like that, I tend to focus only on the game and I stop listening to you guys. And so it's like I'm
what
there.
A dick.
I'm there, but I'm not really listening or participating in the party.
I don't like joining parties when I'm playing.
because I'm trying to
solo.
focus on a game.
I just don't. Yeah. Especially if I'm streaming, like I won't
That's
do
why
it
you
anymore.
guys only have 10 games beat this year.
That's probably why,
right.
Yeah. But I think this game's awesome. I think there's so much to do.
Yeah.
So many cool things in
It's a
there.
good game.
And I'm super glad we played it. I'm glad I got this experience. So, final thoughts.
It's a good game. I feel like we would know more about what was going on story-wise and be more invested in it if we played the first one, because it feels like there's certain things, continuing storylines from the first game that aren't 100% important, but kind of help explain what's going on, especially why Highland and the city-states are fighting.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can import characters over from the first game into this game, which make things a little bit easier and better.
Right. I think I think this game's fun enough that I want to explore the rest of the series. Honestly, I think it'd be fun.
I would give them a solid look,
5 games,
and then only play it if it's ever nominated.
Yeah, I think we should. I think maybe we should look into getting those nominated.
No, I said no. Not right now.
Not now, no, but eventually. I'd like to explore the series more. I think this is worth picking up, and it's only $10 on the store, or $5 even on PlayStation Store.
It's like $5.99, I think.
Yeah, so you can play
bad.
it. You'll get some slowdown in that version.
Is
but
it on the PS4 store or only PS3?
PS3?
Oh, dumb.
PS4 is like stupid. They don't have PS1 games. I don't know why.
Sucks.
I don't know why, but
Because you've convinced me to maybe try it.
yeah, I'll just buy that $500 copy and then give it to me when
Fuck
you're done.
no.
I'll
Buy
pay
that
for half of it. How about that?
Used copy.
I'll pay.
$250 for a
We'll
game.
just pay. Just buy the fucking used copy.
Both of us are going to play it, so $250 for you, $250 for
Fuck
me.
you, I'm
and
not
we-
keeping it. I'm not keeping
Like
it.
if you buy that fucking mint copy unopened and you open it to play it, I'll fucking slap you. It's only going to get more
See, here's the hard part, though.
expensive. as
How
time
about
goes
you
on.
buy the $250 and I just borrow it?
Maybe. All right, so quick recap on the scores for Suikoden 2. Story, 8 from Cameron, 9 from me. Gameplay, 9s across the board. Sound and music, 8s across the board. Graphics and design, 10s across the board. Replayability, Cameron gave it an 8. I gave it a 10. For a total of 43 out of 50 from Cameron and 46 out of 50 from myself. A grand total of 89 out of 100. And Metacritic has it at...
Okay, wait. Remember how Brandy kept saying this is one of the best RPGs in the world, and like how can someone dislike one of the fucking best RPGs in the world? And it's like everyone fucking loves this game. There's nothing wrong with it. Now read the fucking Metacritic score.
82 out of 100 on Metacritic.
So fuck you guys for saying this is the best game when the game after this, Final Fantasy VII, has a much better Metacritic score.
So here's what the reception...
So, this is the most fucking popular game in the world, and we gave it a fucking better score than fucking Metacritic did. So fuck you, Branny. Fuck you.
All right, so here's what it says in the reception column. It says, in 2010s, contemporary analysis of the game is often critical praise, and many video game critics and players alike consider it to be one of the greatest video games of all time, as well as the best console RPGs from outside of the Square Enix canon, and the best of all Suikoden games. So they're basically saying it's the best RPG that's not a Square Enix RPG.
Okay.
And
Well, I
people,
mean,
it's aged well with
qualifier.
time.
The best third-party RPG.
It's aged. I think with time, it's become a cult classic, and
No,
people really like.
again, it's a good game.
It's a pretty
we
fucking
gave
good
it an
game,
89 out of 100.
Is that like being the best redheaded stepchild?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like I feel like people are realizing that this game like inspired like a lot of other stuff in other series. Like if I feel like Fire Emblem borrows some of the stuff from it, from what I've seen, as
Yeah.
far as like battles and stuff goes.
Didn't Fire Emblem, when did Fire Emblem 1 come out?
Hold on, I'll look.
Well, it doesn't matter when one came out.
It does matter.
If Fire Emblem 4 borrows stuff from this, then it still borrowed stuff from this.
I'm just antagonizing Cameron.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like when I review a game, I would not originally
The
play.
first game was in 1990.
Yeah, suck it, Cameron. Look
I mean, but when did Suikoden 1 come out? If you want to do that,
Like 96.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Boom.
when I review a game I wouldn't normally play, I do my best to play it objectively. Just because I wouldn't normally play it doesn't mean I wouldn't enjoy it.
It was
Like
95.
I suffered
December
so
95,
much
so it's
more
close.
playing Persona 5 than playing this game, and yet I still reviewed Persona 5 great.
And you reviewed it on time.
And I reviewed it.
And it was
I
twice as long.
classically wouldn't have played something like I Am Setsuna, but I love that game. It's a
Yeah,
great game.
yeah.
I classically or originally wouldn't seek to play out any of the Suikoden games, and yet I played it and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Listen, in the chat,
I
me and
hate-
A4 stuck up for you.
Okay.
We stuck up for you in the chat. We
Just because I am not an RPG person doesn't mean I will think all games I don't play are trash. No, that's a very ignorant point of view that someone could take to anything. I
Yeah.
would
Did
normally
you-
enjoy this type of movie, so I hate it without even watching it.
Did you see that in the chat? When Cameron got called out.
No, but I remember Brandy calling him out in a chat we had, like a voice chat. He's like, Cameron's going to give this game bad scores, and I'm going to get so mad at him. And I was like, well,
Fuck you. I never
I don't know
do
about that. I mean-
never go, I hate this game because it's an RPG. I hate RPGs and they're all fucking
I
dumb.
remember Pearl Harbor, and I hate.
Fuck you. I always
JRPGs.
review every game objectively. I might be very opinionated and strong about something I think is stupid and then get worked up
So-
about it for theatrical and comedic effect, but I will never rate a game lower than I feel like it should actually have.
So
I
me-
try to be objective about it.
You know, the only person on this show that does that is
Craig.
It's Craig. Yeah.
Not true at
You
all.
hold grudges against him.
Yeah. Craig is a grudge master.
To be
It's
fair, we
fucking-
talked about this the other day.
I am objective.
Oh, fucking come
as
on.
hell. All right.
You get to Last of Us 2 and you're like, I got shot by that sniper. Fuck this whole level and this whole fucking game.
Yeah,
You
'cause
said
it's
that.
ass.
I died once. And I'm
Ass.
I hid in a corner.
Objectively, it's ass.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry.
I am objective. Anyway.
I can see where Brandy's fear would come in, but like it's never really happened. You know what I mean? Like we've
Right.
never.
Well,
We're
and
normally
that's-
within a few points of the Metacritic score without actually knowing what it is going
Yeah,
into.
unless it's like a bounty hunter or a new nightmare where it was god awful for us. We're usually pretty.
Well, that's where me and
I don't
A4
know.
like stuck
Yeah.
up for you because we're like, it's
Whenever
good
I
to
ever
get.
played
It's
a
good to get.
game-
That's the point.
That's
of
why
view.
I wanted Cameron to review it. Is because they're
Exactly,
like,
exactly. The point of view of someone who doesn't like RPGs is the one I'm going to listen to.
Yeah.
About an RPG. I'm not going to listen to the review of someone who sucks at off love RPGs. No offense.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like, if you don't like the game and you're like, dude, this game's rad, I'm gonna give it a chance because you don't usually play.
I mean,
these.
do I really like RPGs that much, or did I just?
Dude, you swallow
Sign.
the jizz
You
all
have
the
an
time.
entire fucking podcast
Or did I just sign up-
dedicated
Yeah,
to
you
a series of
gargle it.
RPGs.
Or did I just sign up for something that was much bigger than I could handle?
The only thing I can't bring to the table is knowledge of what other RPGs brought and like kind of the development of them and like, oh, it's probably taking hints of this from here.
Yeah,
and I like
yeah.
how they did this idea where this game did that. I can't bring that level of discussion to the table. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say I thought that was cool. I didn't like that, and that's it. But
Yeah.
but that's just from a person who doesn't play them,
You know-
and I'm still going to be objective about it, even though it's not my game I would normally play.
All you have to say, Cam, is Dragon Quest did it first, and you'd be right for
Dragon Quest.
90% of
Dragon
the time.
Quest isn't a real game.
I don't know about the stuff in here though. Like, there's some stuff
That's why
that
I
I
said
mentioned.
90% of the time.
Yeah, well, this is the other 10%. Yeah. Oh, Angrax Black Dude says you can find a farmer for the seeds and animals. Yeah, it's fucking cool. Like,
That
how
is
cool
pretty-
is that?
Well, it looks like they thought of like
Wait, you can
pretty
raise
much
animals
everything.
too?
Yeah, I
Damn.
saw animals. I think I know where the farmer is. I just didn't recruit him. I wonder if it's like a time thing. But yeah, it's this game. And you're right. I think that's why they chose me and Cameron to do it. Is because I've played a bunch of RPGs.
And it's about that's the whole reason why they picked me is because this is supposed to be classic.
Yeah.
Like that people want me to play games I don't normally play, and I love doing that.
I
love
do
playing
too,
games
yeah.
I wouldn't normally play.
It's crazy because
I just don't like playing games that take hours and hours and hours of grinding to get fucking done.
Yeah.
So things that I dislike about games is
Working for it.
is RNG and then fucking spending hours and hours and hours of doing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over and over
And
again.
this game
and
was-
grinding is that it's grinding because you're grinding out levels and it's a grind.
yeah,
You
this
should
game
really try
was,
Fire Emblem Cam.
This
There's,
game
like, no
was
grinding in
pretty
those games.
balanced.
It's great.
And this game, it didn't. The only time I had to grind is I needed
To get money.
I needed A to get money and B to just make sure all of my characters were up to level.
Yeah.
And then honestly, to make sure they were all up to level to the Luca Blight fight was really just one trip to that one city and then one trip back, and then pick up a whole new party and do the same thing, and that's all I needed to do.
The grinding in Fire Emblem 2, Craig, going back to that, is it's different every time because it's random missions.
Yeah.
Or it's like
It's
yeah,
just
you're
fighting.
like, oh hey, here's some bandits, let's go take them, but it's in a different spot every time. Or it's who's Marianne? Marianne has a little mini mission because like she wants to kill herself, so like let's go. Like that's what it is though.
I mean,
because like she wants.
That's just a choice
she
to
wants
go
kill
do
herself,
like
and you can do
another
it.
side story mission. Or
Right,
whatever,
but it's still experience. You're still
Yeah.
getting experience. You're still getting gold. You get a badass sword out of that one. Because I
Do
got.
you? I never did that one.
Yeah, I did it. I got you get one of the god swords, or sword or axe, one of them. But like it's stuff like that makes it badass.
Yeah, this is a pretty balanced game, and I mean that's the reason why they had me and Craig play the 50 Cent game is because they knew that I would love it, and I would find the goodness in it, and Craig would hate it. So like they do this all the time to us, and they make us.
I was very objective on that one too.
That's probably the most objective.
His
used
internalized
game, yeah.
racism didn't come out once.
Yeah.
on that game.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I didn't write that one. I'm just.
I don't know, man.
But,
I love the G Unit revolver. What could I say?
Yeah.
I love that fucking gun.
but that's what they do, and I mean I think it's valuable to get someone who doesn't normally play it because if that person says it's great, then it's probably pretty good for someone who likes it.
Yeah, no. If you like that
Who's
type
into
of
that
game,
genre.
then you would really like Suikoden 2.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoy. See, I don't like grinding, but I do like an aspect of working towards building up a character towards an end goal. Like doing stuff you can, to level them up or finding cool items for them that make you work for it, but not grind for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's less like soulless. The grind is kind of soulless at times. Yeah, I agree.
I like team battles. I like doing that. I like that type of combat. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed finding, making characters the best that character can be, and reaping the benefits from that. I enjoyed finding the cool runes for them to use, and then having doing the whole battle aspect. I feel like that was really fun, and I like that. I just don't like other tropes that tend to come along with games like these.
Yeah. I like the I like the alternate endings. I like every female character's design. Like I said, looking like I finally figured out to slip a finger in there. Combo system was cool. Sister's
the combo
Sacrifice
system kind of like seemed like that thing that you had.
Another part of it is like every female character had a crush on the hero character.
Yeah.
Well, it's an anime.
Yeah.
And he's like a boy.
Oh man,
He's a boy.
They had a harem thing going on.
They did, yeah, kind of.
When you guys talked to that, is interesting. You mentioned the combo system. It sounds rad. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
can
cool,
just
yeah.
hook up. Just sounds cool.
I like how the
Sound
kobolds.
like that cross attack thing they had like in Chrono Trigger and
And those get pretty in
whatever.
depth because you could. It's
And you
not
guys
just
played.
2 characters. You can get like 3 or 4, even like an entire team of characters who can have a unit attack together.
And see, I didn't explore it as much as you did. It
So I
sounds
didn't
like,
either. Only had like a few of them.
Yeah.
But there's more out there that can be done.
Another thing that I really liked before we finish up, the kobolds. I wrote that they're so dumb that they ram their heads into the training dummies during the montage at the end of the game.
They do.
No wonder they're so trash in fights. I didn't know about the kobold riding the hamster. That's pretty fucking hardcore.
No,
or the wolf.
It rides the wolf. Yeah.
Or is it the hamster riding the wolf?
No, it's the kobold that rides.
Oh, I
the
think
wolf.
I'd prefer it was the hamster.
dog on dog.
Yeah. I feel like there's another character who can do the same thing, but I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot of things to do.
It's funny though when you recruit the wolf Shiro and the dude who comes with it. It's just like you take the dog from him and just have the dog in your party and never him because he's a horrible range character.
Yeah, he's not very good.
If you get 2 archery characters in your party, they have a unite attack where they just like fucking like rapid fire their bows everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But again, it's not as powerful because they suck.
Yeah, that's true. It's fun though. There's a lot of good stuff in the game. I'm glad we played it. I just wish I would have finished it a month ago.
Yeah, same.
Feel bad about that, but it was hard to get into. Like I said, it was a little slow.
It's
slow
hard
burn.
to get into,
but it's hard to leave once you get in though, because like having to go to work and stuff. I was like, fuck, I want to keep playing this, but I can't. That's that. 89 out of 100 compared to Metacritic's 82. So yeah, fucking take that, Branny.
That's one of the better scores for this year.
Yeah. This year's been kind of, but hey, Cameron hates RPGs. Nothing you can do. The narrative is drawn, Cameron. You can't change it. You nominated Black Ops 3 one time, and you'll never live it down.
See, in Brandy's world, I can never play an RPG ever because I won't give it an honest review, so I can never become the person he wants me to be.
Yeah, it's stacked against you.
He's gatekeeping RPGs again.
He's just disappointed in you.
Yeah, he is. He's being a total gatekeeper. That's fucked up. But yeah, there's the review. Fuck, you guys want to do anything else? You good?
I think we're
I'm
good.
good to go.
Gotcha. Our
I'm good.
quasi after dark in the beginning, I guess, with the questions and the ridiculous conversation. So, guys, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this review of Suikoden 2. If you did, give us your fucking money. Patreon.com. Search Nude Clan Podcast. Throw us some bucks. We'll throw you some rewards. I know I said like weeks ago I was going to mail out those stickers. I'm actually going to mail them out now for real. So that'll happen, and you guys will all get some of those. We got the new season logos, new season stickers, super cool. You can support us there. You can possibly decide to maybe click on a link that we posted in our Discord channel that might, in fact, give us money, maybe, through a certain website owned by the richest man in the world. Not to point any fingers or name any names. But you can go through there and buy your shit, and we'll get a small kickback. You can also go to twitch.tv/NudeClanGaming, where we stream our episodes live. And all the excitement over there every Sunday or every other Sunday is what we should do, but we can't for some reason. You can join us there. You can sub to us there if you have Twitch Prime via Amazon Prime. You get a free subscription. Why not give it to us? Who the fuck else are you going to give it to, really? Just do it. And also, Craig and I can attest, audibletrial.com/NudeClan.
Damn right.
It's a great service. Amazing. You can get a free book there. Try out Audible. If you're one of those people...
4 credits a month.
Yeah, if you're one of those people that's on the fence and you have a job that's
Dude,
pretty...
you have no idea how quickly I burn through books.
Yeah.
How do you get 4?
Huh?
How do you get 4?
No, I want to get 4.
Oh, at least you got 4, and I'm like,
I'm
what
stuck
the
only
fuck?
getting 2 a month, and I need
Okay.
like 4 a month.
My mind was blown, so I'm like, how did you do that?
Well, you can buy 3 extra credits for like $35, $34.
Yeah, I could keep doing that.
Not doing that.
I have done that a few times.
Me too.
Uh,
I'm almost at 200 books.
Jesus,
That I
I
own.
have like 47 or something.
Nerd.
But it's a great service. If you have any downtime, any drive time, a job that's kind of monotonous, audibletrial.com/NudeClan. I swear to God, it's awesome. I was a big naysayer, and now I am a big...
Now it's a lifesaver.
It really is, yeah. I get so fucking bored at work.
But now that we're not listening to a book together, I have no idea what to listen to. So I've downloaded a whole bunch of books that I'm not listening to because I don't know what to do with my credits.
Yeah.
I'm reading a bunch of Warhammer stuff on there right now.
Yeah, there you go. Lots of stuff to be had, and there's generally pretty good narrators. There's a few that are like kind of stinkers, but I mean the only one we've ever found
It just
is the
depends. I
Electric
mean,
Sheep of Boredom.
it really depends. I don't know why it's hard to find a narrator who's good at giving life to the narration and not just sound like he or she's narrating.
Yeah, I don't know what goes into it, but it's a pretty goddamn good service.
Even just doing the show, it's like if you're just reading a book, it gets kind of monotonous at some point. Like you're just reading text, and it's kind of hard to keep using inflections. You have to break it up. Like, have you ever just read a long ass passage out of the book? Hard to keep the same energy at the end as you were.
That's
going
true.
into
Yeah,
it.
it kind of tapers off.
So there's probably an art into narrating, and then not overworking your voice too.
Probably, and some of the guys on there are really great at it. So it's something.
I wonder how long it takes them to record some of that stuff.
Yeah, if it's like a 40-hour book, is it like double that? Or?
Probably, at least.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because you got to read.
Sometimes
do
you might have to do
multiple
retakes,
takes,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they got to take breaks every now and then.
Yeah.
They'll
I've
probably-
noticed that in some books there'll be like a long pause between like some sentences because I'm pretty sure that's where they broke off.
The long pause, probably if there's a long pause between sentences, it's probably because they messed up and they just didn't want to do the whole section again and just cut it right there.
Yeah,
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but it's great. So you guys should go there,
Yeah.
and that supports that potentially puts money our way.
Audible's great.
Not necessarily in our pockets, but it might in fact shuffle funds from one place to another if you do go through that path. So please consider doing that. Check out our other shows: Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. We've got For Future Kinsamora, Song of Schweiss and Johnson, Game of Thrones show, Godzilla podcast, Godzilla show, obviously, and the Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest podcast. All mainline Dragon Quest games reviewed and accounted for on that show, except for the MMO that was on only in Japan, obviously.
yeah. They brought it to Switch and they still haven't brought it over here.
That's ridiculous. I don't know why the fuck they're playing around with that, but that show's there. Super sexy swinging fan fiction if you want some ridiculous erotica in your life. Getting Fat with Caleb and Joe. Well, there's a lot of little projects we've done over the years. You can check all of those out. And guys, until next time,
Enjoy the nude.
Time to get good.
The greatest PlayStation RPG, and you only gave it an 89.
live always in the nude.